Is that canon?
Is it?
Maybe. We are the podcast where we take things that debuted on comics and now are on screens,
Yes.
as things tend to be.
Yes.
How's
And watch
everybody
me lose
doing?
my shit.
Yeah, that's probably going to happen. How's
Yeah.
everyone's week been? Tink?
I'm pretty good.
Oh, yeah, it's been active. I started playing Fortnite. Zero build, may I underline that. They can't
I'm
escape
tempted.
now. They can't escape now. No, honestly, I did it as an April Fool prank and I got fooled myself. So I am now hunting down children and I'm winning.
Seeing the no building thing has me tempted. I've been
And my
thinking about
cat has
myself.
come just in the nick of time for my
Aw.
cunning explanation of how I'm killing people's dreams. You can't build an Eiffel Tower to run now, little Timmy. You gotta face me face. Come on.
Yeah.
So that's what's been happening this week. But anyway, what's been happening with you, Brian?
I'm pretty good. I'm very busy with work. Read a bit of Daredevil, which may become relevant later. Spoiler.
Spoiler alerts.
Yeah, read the newest run of Daredevil.
Yes.
And been flicking through some old The Moon Knight stuff.
Oh,
The really
yes.
old stuff isn't good crack to read because some of it's very up and down.
I have some good news about Moon Knight as well that I want to share with people, but I'll let everyone dive into it first. What about Ado? What was your week like?
My week has been pretty good. Work was kind of slow, so I started watching One Piece again. God, I love One Piece so much. I'm
Yeah.
on episode 797. It surpassed. It's now the furthest I've ever gotten in any piece of media.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it was Naruto. I watched Naruto years ago, and I got up to like episode 65 of Boruto, which is, I think, 785 episodes in. So now One Piece has surpassed that. One Piece is one of the greatest pieces of anything I've ever watched. In my top 10 moments in media, One Piece has at least 3. It's so good. It's a massive commitment, but it's one of my favorite things ever.
But you're on 700.
797 episodes so far. There's 1,016 episodes at the moment.
But how long does that take for one to read?
I've read some of it, but I'm watching it at the moment.
Okay, yeah, well, I suppose.
Yeah, 20-minute episodes. It's so good. It's impossible to describe how good it is.
You can't get away from it, you're just bingey with it?
Yeah, what happens is I kind of watch One Piece for a while, and then I'll give it a break, and then when I'm at a stage where those where you can't really start anything, you're like, you start like a load of things and nothing sticks and nothing's working for me. That's when I go back to One Piece, and it usually gets me out of that rut. It's
It
recommend it to
shakes
anyone.
the leaves out of the tree.
It definitely does. It's once I see one episode, like, I need to watch more of this.
And a question, right? It's basically a bunch of pirates leading a rebellion or something.
It
Never seen
is-
it. Or
Okay, so the plot of One Piece is 20 years before the show started, one pirate got to the last island in the world and found
The
a
last
treasure,
island in the world.
and found a treasure
Okay.
or information or something, and that is the One Piece.
Okay.
And whoever gets there and claims it will be the next king of the pirates.
okay.
And it is about a group of odd people led by Luffy and their trip to try to get to the end of the world, to the island of Laugh-Tale, and claim the One Piece. It is some of the best written thing I've ever read. Every island you go to has its own unique characteristics, its own unique people, its own geography, trade. It's so well written. The whole world is so realized, and there's so many characters. I always describe One Piece as, I always feel like you watch a lot of long form media,
Yeah.
and you're like, this has been made up as you're going along. I feel like One Piece was charted out from the beginning to end before it was started. There is a character that you can see in the first episode that doesn't make his speaking debut to episode 620. It's a masterpiece.
It sounds like a lot of investment. It sounds like there's like
massive investment.
lots of storytelling in it from what you're
So
going
much.
into it. You seem
Every
so
arc-
passionate. You're like, listen.
Every arc you go to this new place and there's new things to be discovered, and it's because it's a shonen anime. It's like it has that same sort of getting stronger vibe like Dragon Ball and stuff have.
Yeah.
But like, whereas Dragon Ball, it's all about he gets more powers, he gets more. Luffy doesn't really just get his first power up until like 400 episodes in.
Jesus.
It's really well paced and really well written, and it has a great, strong anti-authoritarian vibe to it that I love.
I like that kind of like real investment storytelling. Like I want to be able to keep going, and that's what I love about the Marvel universe because they tell it so well.
Yeah.
Like, we were talking about DC and Marvel earlier. We won't hear my shite, but like still, I like the layers and the time it takes to give the storytelling for it, and I like that a lot. And that shows a lot of investment of how much they actually thought out in the universe. That any kind of book or any kind of story that you yourself is reading as well. So I love it.
Yeah, the whole reason I'm here is because I like connecting the dots in these things.
Yeah.
you know, so
I just use this information to get boys. No. Could you imagine?
One Piece is the sort of
Happy
thing
out, girls.
where tiny pieces of background information can be used to discover what's going to happen 400 episodes in the future.
Yeah. I like
That's the
that
sort
a
of story.
lot, and then that's what gets the silver lining on my tinfoil. I'll go
I
lads.
agree.
Right, anyways.
my favorite ever DC comic book is Starman. Either of you ever read Starman?
No,
I've
never read
read
Starman.
the first 2 volumes of Starman.
Yeah. So in like the first issue or first 3 issues of Starman or something, he goes and visits a psychic. He tells him loads of things that happened in the last 20 issues, which is like 10 years later in real time. Like.
That's mental.
Yeah. It's like obviously James Robinson, the guy who wrote this, he moved to Hollywood and he's a loss to the comic book industry. But this guy's
Yeah.
a really good writer, and obviously he was just
He's
going,
picking up
"Now,
through
look,
a-
this is how good I am.
This is my CV.
This is
I'm gonna pick this up 10 years later. Wait and see. Amazing comic. One of my favorite ones ever. Like.
I love it so much. It really just.
And here's weird thing about Starman is it's creator owned. DC Comics cannot use that character, Jack Knight. They're not
Really?
allowed without his permission. Yeah. I don't know how James Robinson managed to
Nobody
convince
else did it back in the day.
It's mad. I don't
That's
understand
why
that.
Image. That's why Image was formed. Was
Yeah,
because
yeah.
people couldn't own their own characters.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
mad. I never thought that at all. Like well then again we're like kind of I don't know what the world's gonna be like with the whole Spider-Man situation, but we'll get into that later. But anyway, go on.
At some point, we're going to have a discussion about the history of the Captain Marvel name, which will involve multiple characters moving companies because of creator-owned shenanigans. And none of them are called Captain Marvel, by the way. So, like,
The name Captain Marvel has had a long and varied history.
yeah.
Long and mysterious road
It,
of
it
bumps
involves
and
comic book
potholes.
companies that no longer exist, like multiple comic
Again,
book, one of
potholes.
which was an early attempt at creator-owned stuff, pre-image. Like, Neil Gaiman's involved, Alan Moore is involved. The whole world is involved in Captain Marvel. It's brilliant, but it's actually going to take me hours to write.
Sorry, my
Strong
cat's
enough.
talking in the
Lot.
conversation with us.
Yeah.
It would make a great documentary.
Yeah, there's a couple of great YouTube videos on it, and I would hardly recommend if someone wants to go down a real comic book.
Highly recommend.
Highly recommend. Well, I'm gonna have a look at that
Do
myself.
you recommend?
Hardly recommend sounds a bit negative.
Hardly, yeah, hardly recommend. No, highly I would.
I'd hardly recommend that.
But maybe not watch the best one, because that's what I'm going to use a lot of that in when I'm writing it.
There you
No one
go.
watched Comic Drake's videos on it. Although I didn't know it before him, but he put it together in a really good way. So at the time, I'll be recommending watch this, guys.
Put that into the description, Bron.
I will.
Do.
I won't stab him in the back. Like.
Got you, bro.
So Mr. Knight,
Mr. Knight.
Mr. Knight.
we're all here to talk about Midnight.
We are.
Episode 2 happened.
It was a very entangled episode. and I enjoyed it a lot. Like,
Didn't think Calvinist communists would be the bad guys. That was an interesting idea.
I'm not sure they're the bad guys.
I'm not a huge fan of Calvinism. Have you seen Minority Report?
Oh my god, yeah.
This show's cool.
Let's go through it with us. Go through it with us. What did you like? What did you not like? What do you have questions over? Go,
I think
Aidan.
Stephen is a fascinating character.
Yes.
I feel so bad for him at every moment.
Even the ridiculous accent.
I was actually saying this. Oscar Isaac's a fantastic actor. I love that you can tell which one he is by the way his face sits. I think that's really impressive.
The morphing of his face.
They look like two different people.
Yeah.
More so than Superman and Clark Kent do.
Your man Oscar has this great scowl in his eyes that he can carry to both eyes, both sides of the character, which is
right.
like that kind
looks
of
like his eyes are drooping,
very
Stephen
drooping.
looks
Like I haven't
like a man
slept.
on the edge and hasn't
He
slept.
doesn't, stressed out of his mind. And this has been happening for ages. Think about that. And he goes, how long has this been happening? But anyway, keep going, Aidan. I'm
And then
talking
Mark has
over
that
you.
intensity to him instantly that Stephen doesn't have. It's just a really good bit of acting.
I have to say the action sequence in it was fantastic. It had a nice flow to it. It kept me going. Even down to the whole having that interaction with Layla and getting her and figuring out there's a divorce, you know what I mean, and all that stuff in between. And his heartbreak, he's been looking to go on dates for ages. And he's sitting there going I don't, what, wife? Hang on. Wait a second. And I felt, that's what I felt really bad for him. I was like, oh my dude.
Yeah.
You're hunting for your one in the bleeding gift shop or whatever. You thought you had it in. You're now at that food. You think you're gone psycho. Now you figured out you have a wife. It's like, oh, bro. It was so very heartbreaking. But that, like you said, the acting, how he morphs between the two, even towards spoilers, even towards the end when he's getting angry at himself because obviously they switch places and Mark is lashing out.
Yeah.
And it still carries, they just still, although it's the same actor, they both are very identifiable. You know what I mean?
I think you could take a screenshot of any part of the episode and know which character he is.
Yeah.
Which I think is
feel that,
impressive.
Go on, Brian, dive into it. I see it on your
really
chin.
liked it. Yeah, really liked it. I have this idea that 90% of the way the episode, you can argue, no, Brian, that's not true. But it felt to me like Mark was really looking out for Stephen. And I actually thought, that's quite nice. Because he gets him he's like a small child. He doesn't want him to notice that his goldfish has died. So he goes out and gets him another goldfish.
Yeah.
Gets him a date. He's like your mate who goes and talks to the girl that you're too shy to talk to.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking, it's like a wingman. But it's kind of weird, obviously he has to, I can't have a wife or whatever. It's understandable. You can't really lie about another marriage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But even, early on in the episode, he's trying to calm Stephen down and it comes across as being really friendly. Of course, he can argue at the end, Mark just takes over, so, but he has a thing he needs to do. He needs to sort out Khonshu, and Stephen is getting in the way of doing that. So I think you can still argue Mark likes Stephen, and I think that's a lovely dynamic, because as we all know, there's a third personality who might show up, probably doesn't really like either of them. So, I thought that was really cool. I really like the fight where Stephen realizes he can summon Moon Knight himself, and he's doing the whole learning to superhero thing, and he's really crap at it, but it's very funny. The bits where he's fighting and the enemy is invisible, which I think was from the Mirror Run. There's a thing where he's fighting ghosts, so he just looks like he's swinging it on a street
And you're not sure if there's anything there or not, or just insane.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing with Moon. Maybe he's just mad and he's just swinging at the air. But I really, really, really like that. Intrigued where it's going. I like the way it doesn't feel like Marvel at all.
Yeah, that's why I turned around to the man and I said, you know what this really feels like? Even towards the end of it, it really reminds me of a Brendan Fraser Mummy feel. adventure, right? Not because of Egyptians. I'm not like, just put that to one side. Obviously, you think
There's
that's
a
cliche.
light horror element to it.
Yeah, it has that light horror
adventure.
action. Yeah, exactly. I suppose that's why they're like Indiana Jones. I would have been like tough to say like it feels like the Mummy, but I know like the last Mummy did not do well. So like I hear you. I hear you.
Terrible.
And especially way, yeah, we won't get into the other side. Yeah, anyway, we won't talk about Morbius, yes, but still.
It's really funny. My housemate has watched the first 2 Mummy movies in the past 2 days.
Really?
So I was in and out watching them. I was like, the CGI is terrible, but these films really
These are great. They're like, they were great. Like, I thought they were great. Like, they had a great pace. There was action. Everything was flowing. And it's kind of like the answer to like that superhero kind of genre that we have now. That's always that kind of feel and that pace. And it has kind of high adventure. It had that great feel to it, with the whole scarab, obviously, with everything, but the horror, the adventure. I couldn't dismiss it with like, feels very Mummy-esque, because like when shit goes down in the Mummy, if you remember, obviously you've seen it recently, when something like goes down and say for example, your one gets kidnapped, right, in the first one, and all the lads are standing there like this, you know, that kind of turn, I had that feel to it.
Yeah, where this is no longer
where there's real doubt, like something could actually happen.
The first act is like a defensive act, and the second act is like almost like a getting
counteractive
version. Yeah, where you're on the offensive.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what it had, that twist in it, and that's what felt very reminiscent to the Mummy franchise. The Brendan Fraser one. And Egypt helps, obviously, but no, that kind of like
universe.
Especially with I think it was the whole the jackals running after Stephen, and then I was thinking of, I remember the part where Brendan Fraser was on the bus with the jackals running after him, and the mummies. That's why I was kind of like that kind of twist. That's why I was kind of like, well, this feels kind of like that.
I was saying to Brian before this started, I love that there's a logical reason for why Mr. Knight's costume looks the way it looks.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you need to summon the suit.
Summon the suit. And he's like the Sacramento Rose.
It's a suit.
It's not really.
I've never seen Moonlight.
Just the whole like, let me explain this to you. Like, what? He looks really flash. I love it. He almost felt like
that.
He felt like what a cricket player would look like if he was properly done up. That's what he felt like. I was like, yo, you're going out and hitting ball. Like
Freddie Flintoff back in the day.
Yeah.
One other thing actually while we're on it, right? People are commenting on, I don't know if I said this last week, maybe people are commenting on the fact that the English accent is bad. That's on purpose.
I think
it's not English.
Oh god, I love the way Brian gets really offended with this. Yeah, we know, Brian. It's okay. They know. They're probably just doing that to take the piss out of you. Keep going.
But there are people
comments.
There are people who are legitimately upset that the accent is bad. And they're like, he's not playing an actor. Like, Mark Spector would not know how to do an English accent. He's not right in the head, and this is his...
Every time... You know what, I love being Irish, right? Because we're the only ones that can only say one line out of Braveheart exactly accurate. He's not right in the head. I'm so proud.
You're saying that though, Brian. Who's to say Stephen isn't the real one?
Oh, in this, actually, you make a good point. I'm making an assumption based off irrelevant facts.
Because it's mentioned that it's his mum's flat.
Yeah.
Which
that's secretly the saddest moment in this episode. You know,
Isn't
the way she never rings him back. She never rings him back, and
spoiler, by the way.
Yeah. Layla says. Layla says, like, "Oh, are you talking to your mom again?" So clearly, the mother is not talking to him for some reason, but Stephen doesn't realize.
And he's like, "Yeah."
Oh, I never put that two and two together.
Yeah, and so secretly, that's like the saddest moment in the entire episode. Stephen's there like, "Later, Kate, I love you," and like, she's either dead or just.
This is all Aiden's fault. Ever since you didn't watch Doom Patrol. This wouldn't have happened.
I watched the first episode. It's really good. I'll continue to watch the rest.
It's been months.
The mother line fixes what I think is the biggest plot hole in this whole show, and that a gift shop employee could not have that flat in London.
Yeah. Let's all be honest. We've seen episodes of like different reality shows of BBC or whatever buying shoebox apartments in London.
Huge.
With a bucket. For the toilet, divided by a shower curtain. You may wash in the toilet now. Like yeah, that kind of, especially that kind of layout that he has, but especially when the police come in, it's like yeah, it's for my my sleeping disorder. Yeah, really. Lifted up the
Shackles,
chain,
yeah.
shackles. Even the wife was like, "What the hell is this?" It's like sleeping disorder. I know exactly how it looks. It is.
Yeah, it was just there like,
yeah.
I'll never get, in the first episode, I'm never going to get a girlfriend with like shackles on my bed. It was there like, you're talking to the wrong girls.
They're on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
Stephen. Darling.
Also,
to the
you're Oscar
ATM.
Isaac, like.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking as well. Shouldn't this lad be ripped? Like, that's what I was thinking. I was like, hang on. Wait a moment, right? If he's jumping around and throwing stuff around, right, and he's sitting there with a suit on, he obviously, I'm not being bad. You gotta, he has to look good underneath. There's gotta be some kind of self-esteem there.
Of course, but Stephen
He'd be like,
wears
what? Like, he had to be looking in the mirror going, like, where did these six packs come from? I clearly didn't go out to the gym.
He's there like,
Wow, these stacking these cups are, you know, this, you know what I mean? That's what I was thinking. I was like, hang on, pal, I would notice. It's like somebody strapping one of those things on your belly, and you're like home and you're waking up with a six-pack, and you're like, oh, I did well, so.
Does Stephen have like years missing from his life then?
must do.
Has to.
But that's I hope that's sort of explained away.
Oh, while we're on the subject of Moon Knight, I will give some beautiful, interesting tips to you lovely people who like tin hat stuff like me. In the first and the second episode have QR codes, yes? Yes.
Yeah.
Scan the QR codes.
Oh, they did the QR codes.
And what do you get, Hayden, if you scan the QR codes?
Wallpapers? Usually it's wallpapers.
Better than
Brian,
wallpapers.
tell them what they win.
I'm not sure what the second one is yet, but the first one is the very first appearance of Moon Knight, the comic, for free.
For free. And
Oh,
it's,
that's
It's
cool.
online. And then the second one, which I'm not going to spoil because I want people to go and find out. And when you do find out, I want you to put an emoji into the comments below and say, you are right, Tink. I love you. Have my babies. Right? That's all I'll ask for. That's all I ask for. So keep an eye out for those QR codes,
That started
people.
fine and they got really creepy real fast.
Stop it. They know. You people know out there.
Before we move on for this, EK Saint said it in the chat, and we were talking about it earlier. Apparently, Oscar Isaac has only signed up for this series, which I don't believe.
I don't believe that for a second. Look at me, Kevin. Kevin.
That
I
does seem like a
know.
red herring.
I know what's going on. I already seen the latest trailer for Doctor Strange, okay? Tin Hat's getting strong here, lads.
See that trailer?
There's another trailer one that came out a couple of hours ago. By the way, you're welcome, comments below.
Ooh,
Alright.
that's interesting.
A new extended trailer, you're welcome, and it adds actually a little bit more flavour to what we're already seeing. I feel like I kind of spoiled the movie a little bit for myself because I kind of know who the... Yeah, it's not Mephisto, I can say that for sure. Like,
The thumbnail for this
I
has a
think-
spoiler on it.
okay, spoiler, okay? So, I'm not going to say any more, but it's not Mephisto. I'll leave it to your other solutions, and I'm not going to add more to that, yeah. You
Oh,
don't
we
know.
have to start a rumor that Mephisto is the bad guy in Moon Knight.
Oh yeah, that's right, yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah, of
do.
course.
Yeah.
Who else would it be?
We're so late for this. We need to plan for next year for April Fools.
I,
Miss
behind
Marvel,
this.
definitely Mephisto.
100%, man. Now see the head of that girl? Stay ya.
Mephisto's a scroll.
There you go. Mephisto is a scroll. But he does. Sometimes he has the chin.
or
The ears.
Nick Fury
Mephisto.
is then a scroll, then Mephisto. Ultra Strange. Boom.
I would love if it was double turn. Great.
The dude in the second Spider-Man film was actually Mephisto, pretending to be a squirrel, pretending to be Nick Fury. Yeah,
Yeah,
that works for me.
That's my theory. Tin hat.
That's not
Yeah,
bad.
fair enough.
That's all. I
I
want to
agree.
get a graphic made of me the same way as, like, you know, Scarlet Witch gets her powers, except it's going to be a tin hat that comes up, like. That's what I want.
You
You heard it
mentioned
live.
earlier, Brian, that you don't think that the Calvinistic communists are the bad guys. Khonshu giving off some real bad
Bad guy
vibes.
vibes. Yeah.
Yeah,
But you wouldn't murder a baby, would you?
that's my point.
I
I've seen Minority Report. That doesn't work.
doesn't work, or does it? Like, you could change the future, but then
Maybe.
This is what Civil War 2 was about.
Yeah,
exactly.
this is actually
It's
this
the
is exactly
Soviet
what
War.
Civil War 2 is about.
Ah! Okay,
This
so
is like that's
so it's all
And the
about
bad
control,
guys are
people.
Captain Marvel.
Wait, hold on.
Oh yeah, Captain Marvel would join these people.
Yeah, Captain Marvel would agree with these people.
Oh,
By the way,
that's interesting.
if you haven't read Civil War 2, think like
Go
every
on.
character is out of character in it.
Oh yeah, that
Like-
makes sense. But I already
Yeah.
see what happens with Miss Marvel now. It wouldn't surprise me if she went left or right or up or down or.
Like it's and like it's Captain America and Iron Man against Captain Marvel is basically how.
And Captain
Civil War.
Marvel's Minority Report.
Yeah, and Captain Marvel is Minority Report and wants to arrest Miles Morales because he's going to kill Spider-Man. Captain America. That's the. Yeah, and that's where She-Hulk. She-Hulk nearly dies and then goes like full Hulk.
Oh, I've never.
You
I
wouldn't
still-
see her mad though, right?
Yeah, she goes like
you
proper.
wouldn't see her mad.
I read the synopsis for that, and I was like, "This sounds terrible." Never read it.
I was one of the when I first got Marvel Unlimited, that was like brand new, and I was like, "Oh right, Civil War 2, this will be great."
That'd be great.
Oh, this sounds awful.
Yeah, we are never seeing Civil War 2 in the MCU. Just me on that one.
Why not? But what if it goes into what if?
You could make a what if about it.
Yeah,
Could you
I'd
make a
rather
what
than
if
make-
with it? If we can
What
do,
if Carol Danvers
is
lost
it
her
okay
mind?
that I can have a what if of it? The only thing I want to see in a what if episode is Jean Grey versus Wanda Maximoff, right? Who is the worst situation?
You do not need to what if that. That can just happen.
I just
Yeah.
want it to happen, or else they're the one and the same
Wanda's
person.
Wanda's one of the best anti-Phoenix weapons that exists.
Yeah, that's a plot point in the Marvel universe. Like so.
This is what I
Like-
need. Listen, this
And
is why
that-
we're
I
opening
can-
up this universe for Marvel. Hello?
I can definitely see that being a thing. It's what I would work towards.
I would
Wanda-
work towards that. Two emotionally
Wanda
strict
and-
women. Cat
Wanda
fight.
and weirdly the Iron Fist are the two things that the Phoenix is afraid of.
What? Iron
Iron
Fist.
Fist is the Iron
Like the
Fist is a very
power.
powerful thing.
Yeah.
I would. I still think Phoenix could be the next Endgame movie. Like if you want to do that, we need to take out a universal
Properly.
threat. Phoenix is the one to do. They've only ever done Phoenix in like a. I think everything they've tried with Phoenix has been a terrible disaster. But if you do Phoenix, it should be. If
Well-
you do Phoenix, it should be. This thing is going to destroy the planet. Iron Man needs a building-sized armor. You do like throw everything at it.
Have Thor throw the Hulk at Phoenix. Like,
Thor. Thor throw the Hulk.
Hulk is at his best. Some of those big stories when you can just let him be the unkillable weapon thing that you can throw at people.
that amazing Exiles comic where he's literally stopping Galactus from stomping on the planet.
Yeah,
He's literally holding up Galactus's foot, like,
Yeah.
and then people are, "Are you okay, Hulk?" And he's there like, "Fine."
Like, just walking
my
around.
favorite aspect of Hulk is exactly as strong as you need him to be at any moment in time.
True.
You just need to give him a reason to be angry, and you can get Hulk.
Yeah,
to
but he's
infinite power.
always mad. That's
Yeah, but there's
that's
levels
the
of
secret.
mad. There's levels of mad.
Yeah, but he won't tell us.
That's
You know
why if
that.
they ever do like, World War Hulk as a story, I would love.
I
to
would
see.
love to see that bit of like Abomination and shit in there. That'd be fucking great. But then again, we're gonna
Yeah.
see Abomination in Echo. I think, aren't we?
Oh really?
Are we? Oh no, not in Echo. In
She-Hulk.
Did
Wuhan.
see it.
No. I seen it on the Kevin Feige. I'll Google it before I get into trouble.
He's definitely showing up in She-Hulk.
It's what's the
Okay.
actor? The actor that played Abomination is going to be back.
Oh, what's his name? He was in.
You know the man I'm talking to.
Tim Roth.
Yeah,
Tim
he's
Roth.
in Glorious Bastards.
Great actor.
Not-
You really like him in everything.
Very
you've
good
seen him
actor.
Very.
I always remember. You know the scene before he becomes Abomination, where he just gets the serum in that movie.
Mhm.
That's the moment I was like, oh, they can do Captain America.
Yeah, right.
in. They can.
That was literally. I remember the scene. I was like, oh, they could do Captain America. This will work.
The last rewatch I did of the MCU, I did a rewatch of the entire MCU, and there's the room that they bring him in is very similar to the room that they have Steve in, but also the words that they say to him are very similar to what they say
She-Hulk.
to Steve. Yeah, She-Hulk. Yeah.
100%. Sorry, I don't want to be sure. I don't want to start any rumors and get in trouble with Kevin. God. Anyway, sorry. I wanted to be sure. Stop. Go on. Go on.
I was done. Yeah, they basically.
Any of those? How many dates for any of those? Or are they still
Oh, yeah,
doing
I
the
think-
thing where they give
No,
you the dates
I
at the
think it's going to be like August or something. Like there's
Well,
a
I
gap.
think
There's a gap missing there, you know, between November
I'm
and
more excited
summer.
for She-Hulk than like the next big Avengers movie.
Oh,
I'm
I think
so excited
I
for
hope it
She-Hulk.
has this weird feel of Law and Order-esque into it.
Oh, I want a law procedure.
I'd be
Superhero.
down with that for sure. Like, could you imagine Law and Order with like an actual full character that'd be like, "I seen you, goddammit! I wasn't there,
Have
Jimmy." You're like,
either
"Ugh." Coming into
either
like
of yous-
a cop shop or whatever. Sorry, go on. Sorry.
Have either of you ever seen Harvey Birdman?
Yeah,
That's what's in
years
my
and
head.
years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. Like just instead of Hanna-Barbera characters, she's representing like
Yeah.
Spider-Man or like you
And then
destroy the
it's-
building.
And then at some point, you do She-Hulk and Daredevil as opposing lawyers.
Yes.
And
Last
one of them
episode or something.
and one of them realizes they're defending the bad guy.
Oh man.
I think that should be brilliant. I just want a law procedure.
I would like to see that in a kind of a weird kind of twist, anti-hero caught in the law trying to get out of it, you know, like in a weird situation twist of it where they have to defend them and they already did bad shit before. That'd be cool
I would
shit.
love for Steers where she
Bring
has
back
to protect.
Ice-T as a different character. Sorry.
I want her to have to protect Luke Cage and Danny Rand as the heroes for hire. I think that's a really good way to bring those characters in, or
Jessica
bring the ones
Jones.
bring the one, or Jessica Jones would be brilliant.
To be interesting
Those
to see
characters
her
can
in a
link
bit
into
of
that
trouble.
show so easily.
Yeah,
Like,
easy.
And they've so much to put, like Jessica Jones and She-Hulk and Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel eventually. They have this little girl gang that in the comics occasionally goes out for the crack, you know, they might go out for beers or play a game. And weirdly, Wolverine is one of them as well, just because a few of those characters have a good relationship with Wolverine. So there's often this kind of thing like they want to go shopping and Wolverine's like like or even like they want to play games and he's there like, I just want to play poker, I don't.
Did
Yeah.
I hear something about
Wolverine game?
Kingsman being the Kingsman guy being Wolverine?
That's what I heard as well. Your
I
man
remember.
heard that your man that played Elton John or whatever.
Yeah,
Can't
I just
remember.
not
the-
gonna try and say his name.
Can't remember his name. Everyone knows what we're talking about, but
Yeah.
apparently he was rumored to be cast as the next Wolverine.
Is this the variant Wolverine
I don't
or
know.
Wolverine?
No idea. As usual with Kevin's mysteries, we don't know.
What a word we've got ourselves into.
But it's
Because there's supposed to be a variant in Multiverse of Madness of him, right?
but there's
That's the
also
theory.
a video game coming out, and Zombiac is working on it. Lads who brought us Spider-Man as well,
Oh, yeah.
and Miles Morales, they're working on Wolverine now.
Yeah, and funnily enough, the best
Aaron
thing to come out of
Egerton.
that, Yeah.
That's it, Aaron Eckhart,
funnily enough, the worst
Egghead.
X-Men movie of all time did create a really good game. That X-Men Origins Wolverine game was great.
Apparently, the
I
reason
haven't
that's so
played it.
good is that they made a completely other game, then they got the license. They just like,
That makes sense. That's a great game. I
That's a great game.
yeah, everyone I know who's played that says it's great.
Yeah,
After blah.
movie games rarely end up being good. That's the
Listen, people brought this up earlier, and I am like at heart to say, Die Hard Trilogy is a fantastic game on the
Yes.
PlayStation. So I will have you know, mofos. So don't go around and say, "Oh, it's so hard for movies." Another one that was also good, that was also a crap movie, is End of Days on PlayStation as well. It was just a run
PlayStation
and
had
gun.
some of them. Toy Story 2 is a fantastic game.
Yeah, look at you now. And then Transformers did really well for a while when it came back on the Xbox many years ago on the 360.
I don't think
Yeah.
they're based on any of the movies though.
And then if you were a pink bot and you were a guy, you always got hit on. It was weird. It's weird. Good times. I remember it well because I used to try and play with my friend. Like, I can't remember who it was, but they're like, I can't use my other skin that I'd like made and all that. I was like, why? She goes, random lads keep coming up and asking me out. And I'm like, I don't understand this anymore. But yes, there is a lot of games out there that have been made for movies, and actually some of them have been pretty good. Even Spider-Man 2 gets a lot of slack and flack for its gameplay.
Spider-Man 2 is a classic, in my opinion. It's,
So there you go. Turtles.
That game is only good because of one person.
Turtles
the one
as
guy
well.
who was like,
That's
I
another
think
one.
I can do good swinging.
Well, that's more comics.
I would have put the money into that. So we did it on his own time.
What else?
I'd even push this back further to the 8-bit era. Batman on Commodore 64
Oh,
was
yeah.
way better than I had any right to be.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to pretend I've played that.
Okay, it's like one of these games that's different, different genres. So it's, there's stages that are like Bionic Commando. You're throwing up your bat rope and pulling yourself up, and then there's like racing stages, and there's Batwing shooting up stages. Way better than I had any right to be on the C64. It was a knockout from.
Oh, and Rambo.
Really
Rambo was also on the Commodore 64. I had that.
That wasn't bad, yeah.
And Adam's Family. There, we can go on for ages. We should go on to the next subject, though.
We should go on to the next subject. Yeah, we've been doing this for like half an hour.
Yeah, poor Ezra Miller.
Oh my God!
Isn't
Where do
having a
we
great time with it.
begin? This.
He was arrested twice in short order, basically.
It's weird. I don't know what's going on. I was just saying this earlier. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, some of these young fellas, like, they're fantastic and all, and they're not all the same, mind you. I'm not putting labels on it, but some of these lads will just slip off from some type of, not success. I wouldn't say it was that success or whatever, but like your man had a lot of runs in a lot of fucking movies and stuff, so he's making bank. I just don't understand what the hell's wrong with him. Tell us more, Ryan. Ado, go on.
But he
He
was.
just seems to be a guy who got too much money and too much fame, and it hasn't worked out mentally with the best for
But
him.
what is he doing? Like, I seen like a couple of videos going out there. People can go out and have a look themselves. I'm not very kind when it comes to hand-to-hand violence, but this fella puts his hands on like a fan. It's weird. Like, nearly pushes her down onto the ground. It was weird. It happened like last year or something like that.
Well,
I don't
recently,
know. What happened recently?
Recently, he went out on the tear in Hawaii.
Oh yeah. Go on, tell everyone.
Apparently, he wanted to get on the karaoke machine. Someone else was on it, and he got a bit too much. And apparently, that was the first time he was warned by the barman. And things got worse and worse and worse, and he was laying hands on people, and eventually he had to call the cops basically and have him arrested.
From what I understand, he was in another bar beforehand, before he went over to the other bar. So he's probably out on the tear, bless his heart. To what end, I don't know what the point was. Him going, I'm going to go into a karaoke bar. I don't like any of this. Here on the mic. I made the BBC. No.
We all know bad drugs.
Nah, like, they all have bad nights, but like...
Yeah.
It's for you.
Fucking hell.
I hope he sorts out whatever problems he have, but from the DC perspective, this is absolutely terrible because they're trying to reboot the DC EU.
Oh my God.
And he is the cornerstone of the rebuilding that they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Flashpoint, like.
Yeah, I have. I've seen the trailer for Flashpoint ages ago, like the rest of us, and I was thinking to myself, like, I'm pretty interested to see how this goes. Like, this could actually hold up itself pretty well, you know?
Yeah,
I think
that's true.
The film is finished, so they'll probably still release it.
Well,
It's an
that's-
awful lot of money. It's not an awful lot of money to waste to not release it.
Yeah.
But he has like
Said
he has
that
a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, Warner's
He has
has
a
said
year to
everything's on
rehab
hold.
himself.
Yeah, that's it. Like if he takes care of himself, maybe.
If he has a good year, takes care of himself, and then there'll be the media circus before the film comes out, and that's like his time to show that he's good again.
Yeah, well, at this stage, we're looking at the past couple of weeks' fiascos. The way information moves in this world, it's usually like a week or two, and then everything kind of relaxes. Then time will pass, and then everyone just kind of like, yeah. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know what the finer details is. He shouldn't be putting his hands on people. He went out locos, clearly. I'm not defending the young fella at all, but clearly he understands that he's made some mistakes, and now he has to be accountable for it. I just hope it doesn't become a thing for him, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I think he has a fucking great thing ahead of him if he just relaxes a bit and just kind of breathes. Stop putting so much pressure and shit on your shoulders. God, child, I want you not to ruin yourself. I see Johnny Depp getting pulled from Fantastic whatevers. You know what I mean?
He's also had a pretty crap week because his new film has come out and people don't like it at all.
Why do I feel there's a hint of Shia LaBeouf in here?
Like Shia LaBeouf was a different sort of mad.
He's like, I know, like, but like that's what
Great
I'm...
name for an album.
What?
It's different sort of mad.
Different sort of mad, yeah. But like it's
But
yeah. It kind of has that
he's in
kind of
that-
air, you know, that kind of like, oh, we've seen this kind of tale before, you know.
But he's in that the new Fantastic Beasts movie, and that is coming out to terrible reviews.
Shouldn't have removed Johnny Depp. That's my opinion.
They're
Shouldn't
all
have done
bad
it.
though, right?
But like that's
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think
I've only watched the
Warner-
first one. It's terrible, and I think I know they've gotten worse since. So
Each their own, I guess. Some people like, I suppose. I'm okay with it. I'm interested to see how it goes with this one, but I'm like still like, yeah, a bit weird of a swapping out. But I don't think it's going very well for DC or Warner Brothers, especially around the whole, like I said, bringing in the Johnny Depp thing. I'll slide in some Aquaman too, with AH, because if you drop her name, she'll have a fucking sevener at you, apparently. Right? Apparently. I said apparently, okay?
yeah.
Right,
Oh,
so
I understand.
I'm just gonna call her okay, from now on. You get an H, and so anyway, if is causing crap all over Aquaman too, with the fact that like obviously there's a court case still ongoing, and you have people getting called up, and your man, our lad Jason Momoa, and he's going up. That obviously with that kind of air, that situation, that kind of long case that's been happening years with and death. You know what I mean? It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't look well in what DC and Warner Brothers are trying to do. Like if you look at the do you remember the Dark Universe? Do you remember
Yes.
We've
You remember
mentioned
all
it
5
20
minutes
ago.
of it, yeah.
that? Do you remember?
I didn't
See,
see
everything
it.
I
but
say
know
ties in. But like it's just kind of I don't know. I just want DC to just be their own people at this stage and stop trying to chase something like everyone else is doing the same thing. That's what drives me mad. People can do it. Picard is doing it because they already set the timeline ages ago. I'm a big Trek fan. Fight me, okay? They've already set that ages ago with the multiverse, right? That timeline stuff is already set. You can't argue with that. Back in the 90s, back in the 60s even, right? I'll go into that later. Marvel's doing it well. They've already put the foundations on. They have a beautiful, very wide, beautiful universe already set out, and it's already going well. And I know what DC's trying to do is they're trying to align themselves with this. I just want you to stand on your own 2 feet. You did great in the Batman. You know what I mean?
Did. I think they have kind of given up on like a complete cohesive universe.
Just, I hope so, because it's getting really, really nauseous just watching 2 different versions of the Justice League. That's 6 hours of my life I'm never getting back.
With the Batman doing so well, like I would like to think that they've left the ending of Flashpoint really open.
Opened.
Yeah. So like they could, if they want to say, okay, we're just continuing with the Batman universe, or we're
Exactly.
starting a new one. We had this period where we're
Everything's
doing.
just be its own Elseworld with DC.
Like, you say that, but if they did that, I know you'd be there with me in 2 years' time going, I just want the Justice League. That's the reality of it. You sit there and
If the foundations are reset and it's good, you got your Flashpoint sorted, you got your Batman sorted, we're building up all those ideas in between, right? And Aquaman, right? That's we don't know what's happening with anyway. Leave that yoke alone. But if they get all those lined up, then we can forget about the Snyder Cut, we can forget about all that crap, and then we could just start fresh. Maybe even throw in a new Wonder Woman, not a new woman. I think Gal Gadot is great. I just feels like she's being thrown some shit fucking ball right now with the 1984. But that's my
Never saw
opinion.
it.
I seen it. I will ask. It's terrible.
The first one's great.
In terms of
Yeah.
the, I feel very bad for her boyfriend in it. You know what I mean? He gets revamped into a puppet, right? And he's just dragged along for the ride. Like it's awful.
they effectively, pardon the language, but the two of them effectively
Use the
sexually assault a guy.
That's pretty. Yeah. There's a bit of AS in there. I
Where
would
you're
say.
like-
Or SA.
That dude did not consent to what. So he takes over another man's body, and
Is it like, is the man trapped in his body,
Yeah.
like watching this
Yeah.
happen?
while they're doing the bowel thing, like
Wait, hold on.
In that case, is what Mark Spector, the wife.
This is all very confusing. All very
But-
confusing.
Body stealing is so difficult as a story.
But
though,
you,
right?
you,
Yeah.
you hear me barking though, but if they can get all, like, if you throw in a nice Wonder Woman where she's doing something a little bit more tangible than chasing something stupid. In my eyes, it felt like it was. You could do. She's a great character. Get all that down. New Justice League. You stop being crying.
Does Patterson work as a Justice League Batman?
If he was willing to stay,
we would have our first like couple of years out of him, a couple of movies out of him. Let him see how he feels, and obviously you can always integrate something else, or else let the years pass and see how they feel about revamping it again, because it feels like I cannot see enough of those pearls falling. You know,
everything I've seen of him doesn't seem like his Batman would fit into a world with superpowers.
I would like to see this as the ground and then building him up.
He's very, very much a year one Batman, and like he's acting it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Batman makes mistakes. Like it's something that you've never seen in the other films. He makes mistakes all over the place.
Yeah.
He does. Yeah. He cocks up. He does stupid things. Like he's not like, oh, I'm prepared for everything because I'm Batman. This isn't this Batman.
He's still emo I am vengeance mode Batman.
Yeah. But I could
exactly,
see...
you're growing. You're you're naive. You're trying to get this whole dark persona going. I get it.
Well, I could see, you know, in a storyline where a kid he adopts a kid who's had a horrible life, starts getting a little bit more friendly, and then he encounters a Kryptonian, and you just can't help but be friends with him, and but you would have to extract that completely from if you're gonna do like the Batman 2, which is about some mass killer or something. Obviously,
no, I would like to see like Bruce Wayne going through like accepting his part as this inherited billionaire, right, and then getting his steps on the board. I would like to see that evolution, kind of how like the Dark Knight did it, really. You know,
he is still
Nolan's version.
Bruce Wayne.
He is still Infinite Money Bruce Wayne.
Because I remember seeing the Batmobile and going, that doesn't look like the Batmobile of an Infinite Money Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, the Batcave is also currently an abandoned train station.
It's train station.
Is year one, like.
Yeah.
Okay, he's just starting off. That's good to know.
Yeah. So that's why
you mentioned that I forgot to say the best line in the whole episode of Midnight this week was where what do you call him? Ethan Hawke was just like, is he up there talking about vengeance?
Yeah. And he's all like going real close and he's like, what does he say?
I didn't mention this. Ethan Hawke's pretty great in this show.
Yes.
So we'll move on.
We'll move on.
Yeah, Disney are doing some editing and people aren't happy.
Of what now?
So they edited out some blood in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I'm kind of like, yeah, whatever with that one. But for some weird reason in the Netflix shows, they've started editing out shit. And it's like just a tribute to Stan Lee.
Oh, yeah.
And a tribute to this other actor. I don't want to get his name wrong. The brain is... out of respect, I don't want to get his name wrong. Give me 1 second.
Reggie Cathey.
Yeah,
Reggie.
that's it.
Yeah.
Who played Luke Cage's dad.
I was going to say Reese's. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Both of them seem like really sucky moves to me.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah, but Disney has prior with this stuff. You know, they used to make these Second World War propaganda cartoons.
Oh, yeah.
And you cannot find them
anywhere. No,
yeah.
You can't. You learn them on YouTube.
Oh, there's reasons.
I know, but Warner Brothers publishes them.
Why,
at the start, it says they always have this little thing saying we do not support any of the content here, but we're making this available for historical reasons only, because artists or historians might want to see it. Which
is that other movie that Disney have?
It does. Yeah, Song of the South. Song of the South is the same.
Oh yeah.
Pretending that your company, to me, I don't know, pretending that your company was never racist or bigoted does not hide the fact that it was. Admitting
especially
that
people know who Walt Disney was.
Isn't his head frozen apparently somewhere? No.
That's the rumor.
That's a rumor.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just like, we can have an argument over.
This isn't editing for race. This is racism. Like, this is editing out Stan Lee.
Yeah. Are they trying to detach Marvel from Stan Lee?
I don't know. It's a very sensitive thing to start doing that.
40 scenes they got of movies. Like, you can't do it.
Yeah.
He's so connected. He's the Watcher.
He is the Watcher.
I did read that apparently there are different cuts of virtually every Netflix Marvel show, and they reckon that they might have just uploaded the wrong cut where they weren't added in yet.
Hopefully.
It's a bit weird though to do that. Well, then again, it could be a licensing thing because you're taking it from Netflix and you're putting it onto a Disney Plus service, or it could be licensing stuff behind it. I don't know.
Or, like, I don't know who does ABC have the copies? Does Netflix? Know who provided these copies to Disney? There's a lot of.
Jim, do you have the thumb drive?
Don't
No,
know
I'm
really
not.
fun.
No, I don't want Iron Fist. I don't like it.
You know a fun little thing with Reggie Casey.
Go on.
Go on.
He didn't get to do it before he died, but one of his life's ambitions was to appear in Fair City. Yeah, he talked about how he wanted to be in Fair City a couple of times.
By the way, for those who don't know what Fair City is, okay, it is
Remember Days of Our
dramatic
Lives?
soap opera. It's a soap opera based in Dublin. It was like, oh yeah, what's going on? Like that kind of weirdness.
Think of Days of
EastEnders,
Our Lives or Coronation Street.
Coronation
or
Street,
but
or
with
Neighbours.
way less budget.
As in, I was on that studio. I have a fun story, right? I was at the studio a lot for that at RTE. My sister and someone else is walking through because we got showing the place, and as we're walking through on our own, like there's a bus stop and everything. It looks legit. There was a tour bus coming in for the Late Late Show, and they were slowing down saying, "Oh yeah, and that's a lot for Fair City." And we all started going, "Oh hello everyone!" They're like, "Oh my god, pictures!" And on the bus, we're like, "Yes, yes." We don't act. And then we found a guy that was standing at the bus stop there for 2 hours. He thought it was a real bus stop. He's just stood there waiting for it. Because that's not real, right? Good times. Soap opera. Very low budget.
That's
Looks
pretty
real bus
funny.
stops. I think they sold the bus stop, if I have to say it, Pretty sure they
Another
lifted
small-
it out somewhere.
Another small fact about Fair City: I dated a girl once who was on Fair City as an extra a couple of times.
And I'll
She
give you...
was a drunk student and a solicitor. Like the two, like.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a catch.
And if you think Fair City's fun, you should check out Ross Maroon.
Ross and Arun. We used to watch that during school for our Irish. It was great. Cutty scale, Michael.
Scale. In scale.
Cutty scale, Michael.
So, a
Anyway.
certain costume designer for a certain Marvel show made some mistakes, and people are pretty pissed off.
Why? Tell us why they're pissed off.
Spoilers.
Because
Because-
she has revealed, spoiler alert,
Sorry,
but
There you go.
so yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox are going to be an Echo.
I think we already knew this, in fairness.
That's the
already,
point. Everybody
like,
knew.
he got shot in the face in goddamn Hawkeye by Echo. Who else is he gonna turn to get revenge? Like, I'm not stupid, right? But yeah, like, I'm glad to hear that they're actually gonna bring back Charlie Cox more importantly, because yeah, we're all
he's the
dying to see him, and then when we see him in Spider-Man, we're like, oh my god. So
I
yes.
wonder what his new costume's going to be like, seeing as it's specifically the costumer who did this.
Yeah. Talk about giving away the
I never
bag.
thought of that.
That everybody's spoiling everything. Like over the last 2 weeks, it's been 3 weeks, 2 weeks. I can't remember. Everything's been spoiled. Like, I think I already know.
I feel like the costume won't change, but it'll be slightly redder.
I think it'll be
Yeah, it'll
slightly
be
redder.
more Marvel-y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Have-
the red of the Netflix show is just a little bit too
It's
dark.
too
for Marvel
dark.
Universe.
Yeah. But it's very blood. You know what I mean?
It worked
very dead.
perfectly for those shows.
Deadpool.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't like the helmet. Like the rest of it, they were.
It looked weird. It was just like these two nipples. Like.
I like anything where what makes sense. Like, yeah, more head armor support.
Did you see in the third series? Like, so they put like there's an imposter Deadpool. They give them the red suit, and Matt is back in the black. You know, his
His
new
ninja outfit.
News dude.
yeah, ninja, and I think they were like, yeah, no one likes this costume. All right, sure.
I honestly do think that
Really
the
like
fact
it.
of the red is so deep. That's why maybe we have Deadpool coming in some point, and they can have a clash of two things looking
That is
similar.
happening.
Obviously, that's why I'm saying tin hat. It's not just the thing, but that's why I honestly God do think that's why they're making that change. It's the only thing that makes sense. And besides, if you kind of look at like, I don't know, was Ben's that red? Do you remember if Ben's was that red? What about Elektra? Are we getting a piece of her?
These are all questions. We were just talking about that.
One of the funny things, one of the things I would really like to see in comics, Daredevil, Spider-Man, and Deadpool meet a lot, and they have a pretty fun interaction. I'd like to see that eventually happen.
Maybe. Depending on what they're going to do with Ryan Reynolds, because apparently it's already been announced that there is going to be a Deadpool 3, which I feel like it's
Yeah.
So we'll have to see.
And the Marvel have already said they're not going to try and change Daredevil or Deadpool. No. It's going to be R-rated. It's going to be Deadpool again.
God, I love them so much, because if they did this to us, everything would have to burn.
But a lot of people think that this is going to lead to like an R-rated Avengers style thing. There's going to be more of that.
But sure, like
because they've already aren't they keeping Punisher?
There's so many rumors. Like
there's so many ideas. There's so many wishes and dreams.
Yeah, like they're not gonna make a John Bernthal series and not have it be R-rated.
Yeah, I can see them doing a new, like they can just brand it under Fox or something. Yeah. You know, like they can do that if they want.
They could do that, yeah.
On like complete utter coincidence, I was reading recently the first few issues of the Red and Black Thunderbolts. Do you know who they are?
No.
So that's a Thunderbolts team, which is Red Hulk, Elektra, Punisher, Deadpool, everyone who has a red and black comic costume, and Venom, who was in a red and black variant of his Venom suit. It was the Flash Thompson. So that could be a new Venom now. Venom's in the MCU. If they wanted to, I wouldn't call them Thunderbolts because that's not what people think of as.
Well, no. I don't know about the whole Venom situation.
Need Mockingbird.
I don't know. I feel very doubtful of like a couple of things that could be happening in our universe when it comes to like Venom and Spider-Man. I know we're going to be talking about Morbius in a bit, but yeah. My heart is broken.
Spider-Man thing is up in the air now. Like, I mean, they're in negotiation phase. Like,
oh man.
There's two villains that Marvel have that are incredible, and it's Norman Osborn and Doctor Doom, and it really hurts that this whole Spider-Man thing's so awkward. Norman Osborn is such a character. Like the way they treated him in like the noughties, where he basically became the main villain of the entire world. He ended up becoming the leader of all superheroes, and it was so good. Norman Osborn's a great character if used properly, and it hurts that they can't do it.
And it's mad that like MCU people don't know that Iron Patriot is Norman Osborn.
Yeah, that's Norman Osborn.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
the Dark Avengers were led by him.
Yeah.
And it was all evil people pretending to be Avengers.
Yeah, pretending to be good guys. Fucking
which
classic.
that's why I think they might be doing Dark Avengers. I know you think it's Thunderbolts. I think it might be Dark Avengers because you have US Agent as a Cappy person, and you have Yelena as a
she's
Black Widow. You know,
yeah, the opposite. They're going for the opposite side. Makes sense. So you have your White Widow, you have your US Agent. They're just looking for those counters. But I doubt, like, I doubt Captain America's gonna get recruited in there. Like, you know what I mean?
Complete guessing here. Well, I wonder, are they going for a Dark Avengers versus Young Avengers? That's kind of where I'm thinking they're heading, because they're clearly building up two teams.
Well, if you look at Miss Marvel, the new Marvel that's coming out, she's gonna be like, she's PG, she's Disney.
Yeah.
She's no blood.
Oh well, yeah, that's she. But she's
But like, is she not the same? Is she not the same age as those young fellas?
She is, yeah, and she interacts with them quite a bit in the comics, but she kind of has her own deal of the Champions.
I still think that I think they could do it.
They could, yeah.
They could, maybe.
But like, there's a story, right? The confliction between innocence and naivety versus jaded evil fuckers. You know what I mean? There's a story right there. Like, tells itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you call it? White Widow defects, obviously.
Yeah, clearly, White Widow defects.
Like that's like they've done a really, really good thing of showing that she's a good person behind it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Kate. I like that kind of
such a standout.
Those buddies. I like having Kate Bishop and I like having Yelena. Like that kind of chemistry that bounce off each other. So good.
I I wouldn't be surprised if the plan was to give them a series at some point
I-
because reaction was so good.
Or even pair them in a movie situation where they're really aligned, kind of like how they built up, basically Falcon and the Winter Soldier, how they built those up really well together, but not necessarily making a TV series, but build them up in a movie to the point, you know what I mean?
Again,
Maybe.
there's like a pre-built story in there, like Black Widow is friends with Hawkeye. That's
That's the
That's
niche.
how it works.
yeah, that's how it
Do
works.
it again.
Like, so, yeah, just do it again. Yeah.
Yeah. Do it again and again until we die. Sorry, Kevin.
It's also
Sorry.
really easy. It's pretty easy to write. It's like, I have a job.
Well, you see that a lot in a lot of the movies. Like, you see that in a lot of the movies that
You
you
could
see the
shoot.
stories being repeated. So
Yeah, makes sense. Like,
make it make sense, Kevin. Sorry.
But their chemistry is so good. It wouldn't even need to be a show that has like a massive effect.
No,
on the Marvel
and that's
universe.
exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you could just slot it into a part of a movie. And
Yeah,
just
it's just
work.
really fun. Have some crack with it.
Has
Not
some-
everything
do
has
it,
to be
Kevin.
universe changing.
Exactly, Kevin. Do it. Sorry. Psyche. Anyway.
Are we moving on to some memes?
yeah, okay. We've entered the fun section of the podcast after talking about DUIs and.
Don't worry, I've slotted everything in, so you'll see it when you see it.
Right, I'm gonna open this by saying I don't know what this is about, and I want you to tell me about it.
Brian's gonna educate. He already scared me earlier, but go on.
Okay, so I have open before me knowyourmeme.com for Morbius sweep. So if people have never seen Know Your Meme, it used to be fairly big about 10 years ago, but it got sold on to another company and kind of never really reached where it was, but they do still catalog all the memes that are happening. And I was thinking, like, how do I explain this? So I'm just gonna let Know Your Meme do it for me. Okay. So, Morbius Sweep, or hashtag Morbius Sweep, refers to a series of parody memes ironically celebrating the 2022 superhero film Morbius as a massive commercial and critical success, despite the movie being largely panned. Originating from horror movie Circle Jerk, the trend gained a massive presence on Twitter in early April 2022, following the negative critic and audience reviews of the film. Okay, so far, so normal.
So normal.
Origin. So normal. It's just a meme.
Keep
so far.
going.
Starting on March 21st, 2022, multiple news websites reported on negative early critic reviews for the then upcoming 2022 superhero film, starring Jared Leto and set in Sony's Spider-Man universe. On March 22nd,
One of them.
Redditor Super Calamrex posted an edited images of the Rotten Tomatoes review score, edited to look as if the film had exceeded 100%. The highest possible score, because that needs clarifying. Both with
As you can
critics
see
and-
here.
Yeah, both with critics and audiences. The post, titled "The Cultural Reset,"
So good.
received over 4,500 upvotes.
800 million critic reviews and
800 million.
and 100 billion verified ratings.
Okay. On the same day, Twitter user SkiBallNews tweeted the image with the hashtag Morbius Sweep. The post received over 330 retweets and 3,500 likes.
So everybody obviously loved it, and so do I. And we love
Yeah,
you.
because it's very funny. In late March, more posts ironically praising Morbius as an unparalleled masterpiece, lauded both by critics and audience, were shared in movie Circle Jerk
I
subreddit.
just can't. It's so good. Keep going.
For example, a post made by Redditor Coma Huggy Bear received over 660 votes in 2 weeks, shown below and left. That's I don't know if you have that one. It's
the it's on the reel.
yeah,
Yeah.
Citizen Kane. Yeah, that one. Yeah. Okay, moving on. In late March and early April, the trend spread from the subreddit to Twitter through reposts, many of them with the Morbius Sweep hashtag. On April 1st, 2022, the day of the US premiere of the film, the hashtag achieved a viral presence on the platform. For example, on April 1st, Twitter user Lynch Reborn posted a fake quote from director Martin Scorsese, in which he called the film the truest height of cinema that he cannot top. The post received over 13,000 likes. On the same day, Twitter user Stale Pangolin posted a greedy man type meme that gained over 360 retweets. You know that one where there's like, yeah. And it's Sonic 2 is the little guy. He's only getting like a tiny little trickle, and the pipe contains 1 trillion tickets.
So good.
It is impressive that this film
Oh god, I can't breathe with this. So good.
exists. Jared Leto's probably having a pretty bad week.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Morbius yet, okay? I don't know. I haven't seen any spoilers because
Yeah, what?
I just can't
What I
get
love-
words out. Continue.
I was. That's like there's loads more, but it's all like, you know, this Redditor posted this and this many people saw. So I was flicking through like the Morbius tweets, and you'd see like, yeah, I'm on my own in the cinema. There's literally no one here.
Oh,
or
man.
there's this one guy here,
This-
and then the next guy's like,
A
Morbius
video.
tweet. Yeah, it's broken the world's economy because so many people have spent money going to see Morbius. It's just
You can't
sweet.
see it anymore.
Yeah. And there's another one where like it's a picture of Wiki, and it has like the largest grossing films of all time, and like Endgame's like 2.78 billion, Morbius 125 trillion. And there's the picture, I'm sure you have it, the picture of Jared Leto going like, "Ah!" like that, yeah. On
So
top
good.
of it.
So
For
good.
anybody interested in Morbius,
No.
let me direct you to the 1994 Spider-Man cartoon series, Season 2, Episode 6. The greatest Morbius thing that's ever been created. And just don't go see the film. I'm looking forward to the hate watching it when it comes out.
I'm gonna have crack.
The
on that
one thing that I can't
Yeah.
get over is the fact that the director spoils the movie 12 hours before the fucking thing goes.
Pretty good. That's
And
pretty
then,
good.
what makes it
Pretty good
worse
news.
is the reviewers who see the movie are like, yo,
Not
the
allowed to
2000s was a cracking time. And clearly they have pulled inspiration from this, and I'm like, this is not good. And then they're like, oh, that shit you see in the trailer? It was clickbait. Wait? He doesn't have a conversation at all with Tombs. I was like, what? He doesn't have a conversation with who? Are you serious? That doesn't happen? There's all the shit that doesn't happen in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, they
And
clearly.
CGI is crap apparently as well. It said it reminded them of a video game more so, those fights and cutscenes. I was like,
A lot.
Terrible. They're like Hulk, like first Hulk movie, dark fights.
The only kind of positives that I've seen anyone saying are, you know, that tired old joke. Oh, Matt Smith needs to go see a chiropractor because his back hurts from carrying this entire film. Apparently, he's doing Colin Farrell in Daredevil. He's just like munching up the scenery.
Oh.
It's like he realized that this is all I can do here. Like,
That alone makes like I might love this film.
it's,
Like,
I don't know, man. I look forward to seeing it on DVD.
I'm such a sucker for that old Daredevil movie.
yeah, I kind of
The old one, the old there. Well, did you ever see the Electra movie? Wasn't it out? That's gonna be our crap movie.
I think that's the worst superhero film ever made.
We're watching it, whether you like it or not, and you have to watch it. I'm putting it down right now.
That's for not watching Superman 2, is it?
That's what you get.
Right.
And if you don't, Ado,
honestly,
I will find
this is
you and I will kick you.
Honestly, this is a great idea.
We have to do it. It's for continuity. Okay?
Content.
I have to have the tinfoil. As soon as she drops something in the movie that I didn't hear before, I'm like, I know this.
I cannot wait
Onto you.
to eviscerate this film.
That's if you watch it. That's if you watch it.
Oh, I will watch this. If I get to
Yeah,
talk
right.
about how much I hate this movie, I'll watch it
Yeah,
again.
right. You left me at Blades. Hate you.
I get to talk about it. I don't like Jennifer Garner at all.
Poor Jennifer Garner. She's got the fucking bad end of the stick. And Bennifer's back together again. Did you hear about this?
Oh yeah, poor
Jesus.
Jay Gar must not be happy about that.
Cheers, yeah. She had a jocker about it, yeah. Yeah. But yeah,
That film actually has the worst fight scene I've ever seen in any film ever. You know the one where
Daredevil.
the they're in like a playground. And
Oh
they're
yeah,
actually
they're on
fighting,
the
like,
seesaws. And then the kid on the swing is like,
yeah, but the actual fight looks like they're voguing. Like they're like it's like
Yeah.
like
It's pretty
it's
bad.
bad. Yeah.
I see
Anyway.
there was Kane in the middle.
That film taught me how, like, a lot of things about like I'd never thought about how awkward it would be.
Taught
to
me
live
not
as
to stick
an
around
independent blind
playgrounds with
person.
adults fighting.
Oh, that was Daredevil. Actually, that's the film you like.
Yeah. That film, I'll agree with you. That fight scene's terrible, but
Yeah, yeah.
that Daredevil movie, I remember that was the first time I ever thought of. Oh, look, that is how you live independently as a blind person.
Oh, that's when
Yeah.
you realise for
Yeah.
the disability. Oh, I see. Yeah,
To be
okay.
fair, it does do a very good job of that. Like,
The
you know,
impairment.
when
Sorry.
he's him picking out the money and with all his
Yeah,
clothes.
the
and
way
they've all
everything
got
has to be.
Yeah, everything.
I never thought of it until I
Is
saw
it-
the movie.
It's a legit world. I'm like, yeah, when it comes to accessibility, thank God now over the last couple of years it's gone very, very far for that. I've
Yeah.
you know, I had to put up with it in some parts of my job. So it's nice to actually see that actually come out of the world. But it's interesting to see that you're like, oh yeah, that was my first understanding of how it would
Really.
go for it. No, that's cool. That's nice to
Also-
actually know that it
also
delivers
later-
that.
Also, later I realised, if you're blind, you can get really cheap apartments because they're really awkward, terrible views.
Just don't care.
You're so practical with your situation.
These are things I'd never thought of until I watched that film in particular.
Well, there you go. Well, then,
Colin
like,
Farrell,
I
absolute star.
oh my god.
The airplane scene. Never. Oh, so good.
And if anyone wants to rewatch it, please post in the comments below your favorite terrible part of the Daredevil movie. Not the Netflix
missed.
series, the movie with
never
Ben
missed.
Affleck in it. I never miss.
I want a fucking costume.
Yeah.
He's the best.
But I don't know what's going to happen with the whole Morbius situation with Spider-Man. I'm really upset because I already know what some of the spoilers in the end's in. So if you need it back out now, do so. Can't be warned. It's not how the spell works, is what I'm going to start with.
Yeah, we had that discussion.
This was last week.
Okay,
This was
I want to
last
keep
week.
pushing this. Okay? What
remember
are they
Solo?
going to do? What are they going to do? I remember Solo. What are they going to do with that?
Yeah, remember what Solo did to Star Wars? I think what Solo did to Star Wars, this is going to do to whatever Marvel had planned.
Stop
or whatever
it.
Sony had
Somebody
planned.
hold me.
You
You're
honestly think this will tank the entire Sony?
I think it'll.
It will-
definitely
it will,
cut it
if-
way
if-
back.
Yeah, it's really setting a good fuse on this.
Unless they fully 2 years ago were like, this is shit. Let's just tank it
But
ourselves.
apparently
Fight through it.
Tom Holliers has a contract extended for like a 4, 5, and 6, whatever the fucking situation is for
It won't
Sony.
kill. It won't kill that aspect of Spider-Man, but I think
Are
it'll
you
kill
sure?
this dark, sinister six good
Oh,
guy
yeah,
movie that they
like
seem to be planning.
The goddamn spell. It's not how it works.
I hate the idea of a good guy Sinister Six movie. That I don't really like this at all. Why do you have Spider-Man villains without Spider-Man? It makes no sense.
Wait,
These characters.
It's this thing with you know how everyone was pissed off with the DCEU when they went straight to Justice League.
Yeah.
In order for us to give a crap about these characters when Spider-Man is not around, need to establish them with Spidey as, sympathetic bad guys, right?
Yes.
This is the way it works.
Yeah. Put pen
Some
and paper and
people
get
like
to work, people.
Sabretooth now because he spent 20 years fighting Wolverine, not because he's Sabretooth.
Yes, and through those fights, you got to show that he had a specific morality, and just there's things about him that are interesting. But you can't just start with Sabretooth.
Yeah, doesn't make sense.
Doesn't work like
No.
that.
Yeah,
Venom
because
as a character is so intrinsically linked to Spider-Man. I don't.
and then they're trying to retroactively work in an obsession.
Yeah,
with
that's
Spider-Man.
what I
Yeah.
don't like about this is that they're going in like this way into it instead of going like that
Venom's
way
a
out of
jilted
it.
lover.
Yeah, that's
That's the one of the most important aspects of Venom is he's a jilted lover. Venom can be a good guy until Spider-Man shows up, and then his
Yeah.
absolute.
You know the rumor about the next Venom film, right?
Oh god,
I
there's
don't-
always
But
rumors.
I'll listen.
Andrew Garfield. So Andrew
Oh,
Garfield,
yeah.
Spider-Man, gets to fight an alien. You know that
Okay.
line in Spidey 3.
Yeah.
I wish I could fight an alien. Yeah, like
I fought a rhino, but you're
Yeah.
amazing.
you are amazing.
Are they gonna have Venom leave Eddie Brock and then go to Peter Parker and then go back again just to like?
That's what they'll need to do, right? In
It's the
order
only
for
way.
it to
Like that's those characters work because Venom was
Yep.
once worth Peter Parker.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
think how the hell is this making sense? Because the end credits of Spider-Man No Way Home, a little bit of something was left behind, right? That didn't get that
Yeah.
back anywhere. So maybe something to do with maybe something to do with the Vulture, baby. I don't know. Like, why is he still there then? I'm trying to understand why the spell does not make any sense. Because we've seen Venom drip off there. That's okay, I suppose. We can accept that as a hint to what's to come. Because we've already built up that reality. We've already built up that character, right? We've already built up that back end with Eddie Brock and all that stuff. We just want a piece of Venom. They just need a piece of Venom.
Yeah.
They're probably going to get
I'm
rid
just-
of Tom Hardy after that.
This is just what I'm thinking. You probably don't do Eddie Brock in the MCU. You probably go McGargan
Yeah.
or Flash Thompson.
Flash
Flash
Thompson. Flash
probably
Thompson
go-
would be an interesting one because he's been kind of semi-part of the group. We've already have a little bit of a line, the information on him. It makes
Yeah.
sense if he was to go to New York. He doesn't know Peter happens to be fucking friends with him all of a sudden, you know.
That'd be
That'd be really
like
cool.
the idea
You're
that the
welcome,
film-
Sony. You
I
know.
really like the idea of a film that starts with JJ paying for the Scorpion suit and then Scorpion getting his ass kicked and then finding the Venom symbiote, and you have to do Scorpion Venom.
Yeah.
Yes, I like
That would
idea.
be a good idea.
The MCU Flash is such a joke character.
Yeah, I do not want to put a Venom outfit on him at all. He's a
I don't think I'd buy
goddamn
it.
streamer, bro.
Yeah.
I do have a theory, by the way, and I'd be more confident in this theory than some of the other mad ones I've made.
They're all fun.
I think there's this kind of, we are into a negotiation period, right? Does Spidey stay in the MCU? Is there going to be another Spidey? Is there going to be only the Spidey in the Sony universe? Sony films have been selling very well lately, which they hadn't been in the previous negotiations, so they're in a stronger position.
Only because they have a great cash cow.
Mm.
Well, I said it.
Right. I think Marvel's negotiation tactic was that we're going to bring your characters close because things sell more. Superhero films, including Venom, sold more because people thought they were in the MCU. Right? That happened. That's a fact. I think Marvel were going to say we're going to bring your characters closer into association with ours, and we're going to do that. One of the ways that we're going to do that is by tying Thor in with Venom. Because the bad guy in Thor is Null.
Yes.
He uses
Yeah,
the first
first.
symbiote.
Yeah, that's right.
So if he looks anything like he does in the comics, he's going to have big black tentacles going everywhere. And everyone in the cinema who's seen Venom is going to go, that's Venom.
Yeah.
Also,
You know what I mean?
they've been pretty good with those Eddie Brock movies of like showing that the rest of the Venom species are all tanks.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
would this one be called Venom himself and have
No,
its
no.
own
No, no,
identity?
no, no.
Exactly.
They all have their
And
own
that,
name.
exactly, and that's what I'm kind of wondering. Would he be obviously everyone's gonna go, oh yeah, he's Venom, unless they know the ins and out of it. You know
Well,
what I
like
mean?
when I was reading the Thor books that this came from, right? We didn't really know who Null was. He was like he's a really big villain in the Marvel universe, potentially another like end of
Yeah.
phase kind of
Boss level
boss
guy.
level villain. Like, but
Yeah.
in the comic books, when you first see him, he's just like this dead god that's fallen out of space, and something that looks exactly like Venom crawls off him and onto Null.
Ah.
Right, and it is the first symbiote, the Black Blade. It's like a mega power, like hundreds of times stronger.
Is there not any kind of
Venom, like-
symbiote attached with the blade that what's his face has? Black Knight.
No, that's Coinky Dink. That's the Black Blade. That was predates Venom by about 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
'Cause it had that kind of
But
feel
they
to
could
it
do
though.
that.
But like that's what it
Old
felt like when he
character.
was touching it and had that kind of
Yeah.
like grasping, but maybe I'm
wouldn't
reaching
be-
myself.
Wouldn't be surprised in the MCU they do if they've got two things that coincidentally are alike, they do often just
Mash it
them
together.
Yeah.
I seen that earlier on Moon Knight as well when he put his thing into the ground. Whole ground started warping. I was like, is that a bit of reality magic? No.
It was all purpley, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, and
Purple is-
the man actually asked me, he goes, what kind of magic could that be? I was like, well, to me, that would be reality. It's like, Agatha Harkness. It was nice.
Honestly.
It was nice that he turned to me. I felt very powerful in my situation as a woman. Be proud of you,
Color coding
women.
the magic's
Hashtag.
kind of genius.
Right? And it's good the way
Color coding your magic really works.
it really does work, and it's been tried and true for a good few movies from, I don't know, after Thor 2, then they started really like getting their shit in sync when it came to the colour coordination of that. Because what I don't remember Loki's powers ever being green at the start. I thought it was like white or yellow. I have to rewatch it. But
Loki's powers
Yeah.
were mostly just shape changing at the beginning, wasn't it? They
Yeah.
didn't really do that much.
like exactly, that's what I was like. It was
Yeah.
mostly like gold because all he did was morph.
Him being
Yeah.
magic was at first in Thor 2, right?
Yeah,
He kind of mentions, my mammy taught me magic when she
Yep.
dies. But it's
Yeah.
only the series where we really start seeing him doing like,
Yeah, because it's a lot of shape changing and
Yeah.
like deception stuff.
Yeah.
And throwing knives.
throwing lots of knives
I love throwing knives.
at targets, not at people. Just sort of like that. But
Anyway, to complete my point, I reckon Sony had a good few successes with some films, so they actually nixed Marvel's idea.
I'm telling you, like it wouldn't be a surprise. They have a good catalog that could easily work for them. Like I said, I'd like to see Black Cat, the whole kind of setup
Sony's
there. But I don't know how it's
directors
gonna
are
go.
not smart.
Yeah, but they can't make a film on purpose that's good if they're left on their own. It only
No.
happens by accident.
No, they can't do it. And
Like Into the Spider-Verse.
it's like making your own shoe and just taking a tag or a brand in association with Nike. You know what I mean?
Like,
it doesn't-
even Venom, people basically enjoy those movies ironically.
Yeah, I remember like the
Christopher's
big pull of
stupid
it
they
back
are.
in the 2000s. I remember like the t-shirts and all my mates were loving it, you know, that and the Punisher. And don't know what happened there. That was a weird era for Marvel. I did like it though, I have to say. It was nice. Even the Edward Norton Hulk would have thought it was nice. But anyway,
We have
it still
one
doesn't
more topic to talk about.
go on.
Oh, okay.
And Brian wants to do a bit of a deep dive into terrible sequels.
Terrible sequels.
In saying that, we are talking about one of the best sequels ever in this list.
Yeah, it's not specifically terrible sequels. So I want to talk about like when companies make licensed properties, make films of licensed properties,
Right.
books or comics or anything, right?
Right.
They always seem determined to convince the people who love them and may go to these films that they shouldn't. And the reason that they shouldn't is because they are in the sequels.
Right.
So the very second time generally you see them, for some reason they're going to take away everything that you loved about that character in general, right? So usually what's going to happen is that character is going to retire, or in the case of superheroes, they're going to lose their powers, right? And like if you're watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and for example in season 3 or 4, there's a storyline where Buffy loses her powers for 30 minutes. That's cool because you spent so long with that character that losing their powers is interesting and it's something different. But when you've only seen a character for like 90 minutes, you just want them to be themselves, right?
Right.
Right. Is that just me, or is like
I
is
get
it
you.
something? Yeah. Does that annoy other people?
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
no.
It kind of feels sometimes it could be a bit of a sellout as well.
Yeah. Is there
That's
like
what
have
annoys
another
me.
idea?
They're like, oh,
There
hang
is-
on, maybe I'll push this cheesy, cheap idea and see if they'll bite. I don't like
There
that
is-
at all. And I had
There's a
Thor 2 like
30-minute
that.
section of a lot of second movies. It's just this bit.
Thor 2. What? Dark Girl. What?
Okay, you're just gonna you're gonna walk around being a human. Or you're not gonna.
Yeah.
So what I have here is I have a list. There's about 18 films on the list. Some of them are honorable mentions. Yeah. Some of them are honorable mentions.
He was
Don't
from
quite
all night
count.
collaborating
Is
everything.
Superman 2 the first?
You
One of
shut
them,
your
yeah.
face.
The honorable mentions are first before we get into like.
Okay, go on.
Like the bad examples, right? So what I
Intrigued,
was
go
thinking
on.
was I'm going to mention the film, why I think it counts, and then you two can decide if you think it counts or if I'm.
Alright, fine.
Or whatever, like or
Fine.
discuss.
But I'll give it a shiny or not a shiny, okay? That's all I can give you.
Okay.
Right.
So I gave myself some rules. So one, main character has to lose his powers or chooses to retire.
Okay.
Okay. And it can't happen in the first movie / episode when the character's trying to figure out their power or discover their weakness or on the hero's journey, right? So if it's an intrinsic part of them becoming the character, this doesn't.
There, you have to be the character or retire. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, right.
Okay, and kind of the earlier in the character's existence, this sounds a bit contradictory to the last one. But
Okay.
excluding that, the earlier in their existence on screen, the worse, right? So
So the powers that have to be at the start of the movie, for example.
yeah, so like most the end of the first films, the characters are happy, they have their powers. Yay, I'm going to live like this, and then immediately they lose their powers in the second film.
Yeah,
That's
okay, yeah. The instance. Okay, yeah, I know
Yeah,
what you're on about. Yeah.
Okay, so firstly, the honorable mentions, right? So I don't think these ones count, but they're kind of close.
Go on.
So first one, Iron Man 2. Tony willingly passes the suits to Rhodey, according to Fury, but this is because he thinks he's dying.
No, he didn't willing. They took it. Okay.
Well, he kind of implies that he let him win. Fury implies that he let him win.
Okay, in terms of the character himself, Tony giving himself up and giving into basically dying and having this whole kind of thing, I would still say not a
Iron
shiny.
Man 3 also not going to mention.
No. Yeah, I could also give Iron Man 3 a mention, and I wasn't thought I thought that. No shiny.
I would say a shiny for Iron Man 2 on the basis of Iron Man 3 because I ate a product. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah, it happens twice in a row.
Too many times.
Taking the suit off Tony is the easiest thing to write in the world.
He has been taking the suit off for so many years. He took the suit off in Infinity War, for God's sake.
Okay. So what about you, Aiden? What do you reckon?
Shiny.
Oh, I don't think Iron Man 3 counts. Iron Man 2 maybe. Iron Man 3.
Maybe. All right.
Yeah.
Shiny for 2, yeah!
He's only lost it. He's just repairing the suit for a long period of time.
Constantly taking off the suit, man.
All right. So next one, which again honorable mention,
Go
Dark
on.
Knight Rises, because Bruce actually retires. Actually retires.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a cop out. I would say it's a shiny. Good storytelling, like Bane a lot. Good Catwoman side.
I hate that ending, and I always assumed he went back to being Batman as soon as the.
We don't
credits
know
rolled.
that. That's the mystery of it.
I actually genuinely love that ending.
I like that ending.
Yeah, I like
Aiden.
that someone was brave enough to give Batman an ending.
Yeah, Aiden.
Yeah, that ending would be really good if there wasn't a 10-minute bit in the middle of the film where Michael Caine tells you the ending. I really dislike
What's wrong
that
with Michael
entire
Caine?
thing. Nothing's wrong with Michael Caine.
I still give it a
just think that
shiny,
is-
Brian. I think he's just
think
talking
that's
shit
so
right below
cheesy.
me. Cancelled.
All right. So next one, Black Panther. T'Challa has his powers taken away twice in the space of an hour. that happens if you think about it.
Well, only because of tradition's the first one.
No, it's part of his hero's journey.
He was in Civil War. That's why I added him here.
Oh, that's true. He gained his powers after his dad died as well. Taking up the
He's
mantle.
established.
Yeah, but he had to lose his powers again in order to do the whole taking on the crown because he never got to complete it because they never got to do that, right? So I say that's in the character's arc, and although he dies twice, I still give that a shiny.
Okay.
That's a part of his origin on becoming king, not his origin becoming.
Yeah, because he has to
Panther.
fall down hard to get back up, and that's how all superheroes are made, Brian. Okay?
Yeah.
God.
Just for
Well,
the guy in the
that's
chat,
what was said.
Tink isn't bullying you. These ones I actually agree with her on. I don't think these are all honorable mentions. I'm not sure about them. Like,
Next.
You think I don't know? Come on.
all right, Infinity War. Banner loses Hulk for the entire film.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, so that was
100%.
really upgraded from honorable mention.
Yeah,
into,
because it's because this is he loses it out of fear.
true.
Yeah. And you never
Yeah.
see him. You always think of him as a confident, angry green giant.
Yeah. I love the fact that Hulk is scared.
I like
of
his
Thanos and he
weakness.
doesn't want to come out. I
Because we've
love
already
it.
seen that in Ragnarok that you couldn't even go back as Mark Ruffalo as well. So it's kind of like,
Oh, but
Banner.
I think this is really good writing
So I'm gonna give it a shiny.
The reason I put it in here is because I think it's really good writing, because it's the
Yeah.
character maturing.
Yeah.
Because he's like a teenager.
Exactly.
You know?
And then he actually sits down and he learns about it, and then that's where he gets the brains and the brawn together.
Yeah,
Smart Hulk.
exactly. It's
It's
part
the
of his
first
evolution.
time- It's the first time we see MCU Hulk being scared or something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's an entirely new
So
experience.
that gets a shiny.
Yeah.
Does anyone else want to argue?
It does get the shine, but it's good. It's really good.
It is. Right, go
All right,
on.
so now we're moving into ones that I'll fight for, like
Okay.
these ones are really good. So,
All right.
obvious one, Superman 2. He both wants to retire and he loses his power, and it's the most boring 30 minutes of the film.
It really is.
Yeah, it's the only bit of the film I don't like.
It does feel like a little bit of fishing for money, yes.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
this is the easiest one of all.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
And it
but
also
yeah, I agree.
it created this genre. I don't know what you call it, but
Yeah,
Definitely-
it
it
really
definitely
helped
influenced
launch. It really helped launch that genre. God, I love
Yeah.
bring back the '80s Spider-Man.
so it sounds like everyone just agrees with me there. So
Yes.
that one's good. Next one, Spider-Man 2. He wants to retire. He randomly loses his powers, and we never really get a reason. It's just like you probably didn't want your powers enough. That's why they went away. What?
Ah, okay.
Great film. One of
Okay.
them. This is Superman 2. I love both these films
Yeah.
from the bottom of my heart. That's a bullshit storyline. And it's
I
not
hated this-
even
I
really.
hated this in the cinema. I hated it when we rewatched the film. It's
Yeah.
the bit you want
Look,
to skip.
looking back on it, I have fun cheesiness with it, but again, it was cheesy, so I'm not gonna agree. I don't like it. I think it was
Don't
set
like it.
out.
Yeah.
Bit of a
okay.
sellout.
We're all agreeing on that. And I don't even think it has an effect on the film. Like,
No,
whenever
I
he
don't
needs
think so
his
at all.
powers, He
Yeah.
has them.
I think it was just something to throw in, you know.
It's like, oh, we're 25 minutes short.
Just to
and
throw
it is-
in.
Yeah.
Sure, let's just
We
stretch
have-
out this
we have
whole
We
crap.
have this really tight hour and a half, but I think they need us to have a little bit over 2. Do you have anything more you want to
Keep
do?
talking, Toby. You'd be grand.
And the guy's like, oh, you know what I really like? Superman 2.
Everyone loves that bit in Superman 2. Let's do that.
Favorite.
All right.
Next.
Next. This one, because it's so recent, I really didn't like. And I went, oh, come on. Venom 2. Eddie and the symbiote.
I
fall
did
out
not
of
like
love
it at
and go
all.
their
It
separate ways.
doesn't. No shinies. No shiny. I love
This-
you,
This only works.
Woody
if
Harrelson.
Spider-Man's
But
around.
like, oh my god, it was hard.
This storyline only works if Peter Parker is involved.
Yeah.
It doesn't work any other way. It makes
Yep.
no sense.
Yep. Like, Eddie is this person Venom loves second most in the world. That's the
Yeah.
way it is.
That's the way it is, and that's what you're getting.
Yeah. So.
And then he has the wailing young one. Ah!
Oh yeah, and he goes to the party and he's got the glow sticks and it's supposed to be
And
very
it's
funny.
very forgetful until somebody mentions, oh yeah, that was in the movie too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How
You
much
know
he
the-
wanted to eat everything, and that he goes off to a nightclub and he starts dancing in a nightclub, and he has all like he's like, oh, I feel accepted. I was like, this is not right.
Is it just my memory, or he does a mic drop, right?
He does a mic drop, yeah, from what I remember, kind of, sort of.
Did you ever read the comic? I think it's Marvel Knight Spider-Man, Brian, where Eddie has cancer and he sells the Venom symbiote,
Yeah,
and a gangster buys it for his loser son.
yeah, and it ends up with Matt Gargan in the end.
But the Venom symbiote also thinks the son's a loser, so mid swing just drops him out of the suit.
Done with this guy.
Marvel Knight Spider-Man's a great series.
Who else is on the list there, Brian?
Okay, next one.
Before we get sidetracked with.
This is
You know-
hard
you
to
know what's
say.
great?
Yeah.
Go on.
Fantastic Four 2. All four
Rise
lose,
of the
gain,
Silver
swap
Surfer.
powers
Oh,
constantly.
okay.
Well, that one could be on the honorable mentions list for me, actually,
It-
but I think it counts because you want Mr. Fantastic to be Mr. Fantastic, and you want the thing to be the thing, right?
No, but you also love the Silver Surfer, and I liked everything about him, but everything else just.
He loses his powers too.
I know.
Just hit me.
Everybody loses their powers.
I forget everything about this film.
Oh
It's
God.
so long since I've seen it.
I still love the jet that they had with the 4 seats in it.
Oh, the
Oh, yeah,
fantastic car. That's
Yeah.
Fantastic car.
It's great.
But one thing that really threw me off was the wedding on top of a building with a helicopter coming at them, and she was like, and her hair was very, very blonde as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they get married in that.
They get
It's
married.
A huge part of the arc is
You
that
forget,
Rue decides
Ado
to
doesn't
save
watch.
the world.
He doesn't
I've
watch
seen that
movies.
film once.
No,
I've seen it once when it first came out.
We're gonna add that to your homework on top of the other stuff that we have to watch now.
Do you know what
Don't
actually
give
just
no Iron
brought
Man.
back to me about that film? There is one moment where basically a general tries to bully Reed, and Reed does the whole like the fucking nerds are in charge now, sunshine.
Yeah,
speech
actually.
from Ultimate Fantastic Four, and it was just this one really good moment of Fantastic Fourness in the entire thing, and then they all lose their powers.
Galactus.
Everybody loses their powers. Okay.
Galactus is a cloud. All right, actually no, I'd even upgrade that because 5 people lose their powers. In that.
For God's sake, stop it. They're already dead.
That comes a really good thing, though.
I would say, yeah, a bit of a sellout, unfortunately. Although I loved some parts of it, it did feel like even little. Oh, there's so many other things that I just didn't like about it.
Okay.
Heartbreak.
Next one.
Go
Next
on,
one.
pull it.
Dark Knight. Bruce wants to retire because Harvey Dent exists. That's a big part of the plot in that film.
Doesn't
It
he?
was.
Doesn't.
But he doesn't.
But he's all like,
Moby.
he's all there.
Yeah, and your one's dead as well. She's like, don't worry, I'm gone. Bye, Katie.
Counts if he doesn't retire.
That's a good point. He talks about retiring. He never actually goes over the line.
I actually enjoyed it. I liked it. It was a different adaptation of what we're seeing before. I like that refreshed a lot between George Clooney and Val Kilmer and all that cheese. So I'm gonna give it a shiny.
Okay, you get away with it this time, Dark Knight. Next one, the Daredevil TV series. It repeats a plot where Matt loses his super hearing twice in 2 series, and it's gone for like 3 episodes both times.
Are we counting per season, or are we just talking about the whole slab?
If it happened once, I would have gone, no, that's just, the dude's power is super hearing if someone shoots a gun, but that's something he has to deal with.
Yeah.
But they repeated it, and that's when I kind of take.
That's what I'm asking. I was like, does it count on the season? So okay, the whole thing.
I think it counts. I think it counts if you repeat the power loss.
Well, then in that case, I will have to put down
Also,
no
doesn't he-
shiny.
Doesn't
Straight
he
off
quit
the
being
bat.
Daredevil?
He also quits being Daredevil. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that definitely counts.
Okay. Great series, but this does happen in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does happen in it. I wouldn't say it's all the seasons are great, but yeah, I would not. Yeah, no shiny. You don't get a shiny from me.
Do you remember, Aiden? No, actually, we're both in the chat. I mentioned that one company tends to do this way more than any other.
Okay.
You've already had one entry from that company, but we're about to enter into a long string of them.
Oh God.
Next one
Are you saying
is
Fox?
X-Men: The Last Stand. The entire
Oh,
plot
X-Men
revolves around power loss for some reason in a Phoenix movie.
But okay, how are we talking about power loss? Are we talking about power getting taken away with them by choice?
Rogue has this plot which has nothing to do with the Phoenix.
She just wants to touch her boyfriend and kiss him. Who cares?
Yeah.
Get over yourself and get cool again.
Now, to be fair, this happens in mutant-based comics all the time. Someone comes up with a cure. It's being done right now.
Oh, yeah.
Moira McTaggart is doing it. Spoilers. And
Sorry. There you go.
The actual comic that movie's based on is
It's
really
great.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good.
Really good.
But do you think when you're doing a Dark Phoenix film, that's the
No.
time?
But it's X-Men Last Stand as well, so I can understand that
Look,
concept of it, but...
Look, there's going to be a day where we talk about this film a lot, because there is so much to talk about.
So
with
much, you have no idea.
Preview, taking away Jean Grey's agency of letting herself die as opposed to having
She was
Wolverine
badass
kill
though
her.
in it a little bit, making...
Killing Cyclops off screen.
Yeah. Oh, that upset me because he's a
Eddie
leader.
Jones.
You know?
Eddie Jones.
Taking away Magneto's powers, just everything about it. I hate this film, and it's real.
It's
It's egregious in this power loss thing.
Also
Juggernaut.
incredible film. Yeah,
To
Vinnie
laugh
Jones
at.
is the entire Vinnie Jones.
The whole end of the batch. It's a hard one to think of, but yeah. Of course, it felt a little bit yeah, I can't give it a shiny. If it's not a shiny, it's not a shiny. It's,
So
yeah.
we're at 2 for Fox, right?
Yeah.
The Wolverine. Logan loses his healing powers due to being poisoned, and later due to weird Silver Samurai transformer thing. So he loses his powers twice in the one film.
Yeah,
His
this film.
only power. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's any defending Wolverine in general.
And then your one was trying to predict the future. I see you dying on a plane, and he's sitting on the plane. I'm like, oh my god, will this have anything to do with the real MCU? But anyway,
yeah, and I find
no shiny.
This particular character, when you do a power loss storyline with him, you're always like,
Yeah.
the whole point about him is that he's both incredibly vulnerable. He doesn't have anything that makes him stronger than a man, but he's also completely invulnerable.
Yeah.
So he can suffer.
He's sharp but not strong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing with Wolverine. And you take that away from him, it's there like he's a dude with knives.
It's some fella with a knife.
Yeah.
This
Six
is a
knives.
knife. That's a spoon. Ah, I see you played knife and spoon before.
So
But yeah, no, I wouldn't give it a shiny, unfortunately.
Okay.
There were some parts of it that I thought was like, okay, I get it, like the whole bombing in Japan. That was a very good kind of like shoe into the history of Wolverine, which
Yeah.
I kind
It was
of applaud for. There was good parts in it, but overall it was just, didn't like the ending.
And with this one, I have to say, I was even in the cinema going, there's been studio interference here. And this is from the same director as Logan, right? So
Yeah.
Dude knows how to do a good Wolverine film.
Right.
But
Man, Hugh
last-
Jackman's had some serious ups and downs.
Suppose.
I'm sitting here trying to think if Wolverine Origins has a power loss thing in it, but I don't think it does.
No, wait, he dying though, right? Or are we talking about Old Man Logan? Old Man Logan.
No, we're talking
has that.
Origins.
Origins.
They took away Deadpool's power of talking.
Oh, that was it. Yeah. So he had no.
It's
and he had
honorable mention here. Like.
Yeah.
I think that's Deadpool's second most important power.
The only thing they took away in Origin was his memory. That's it.
It was everyone's dignity.
Was
Oh my
everyone's
God.
dignity.
Alright.
But if that's on the list, I'm gonna give it a no shiny because I didn't enjoy that. No
Alright.
shiny for you, sir.
Sucks.
We
Go
are
on.
approaching the end.
Go on.
3
I'm
more.
liking this. Go on.
Next one, Logan. Logan loses his healing powers due to age. Then the story
Oh,
has
man,
him MacGuffin him back to
Logan.
full power for a fight because everyone wanted to see
But
the
it's
18
it
Wolverine
boosts.
fight.
Boost.
Doesn't have full power though.
He doesn't have full power. He has a
He's
temporary.
half power.
He's taking steroids.
Yeah.
For
And
mutants.
actually, looking at this one, I think I've been a bit mean here. I think this should
I
have been
liked
an honorable
it.
mention.
I love
I
this
did,
story.
I like
love
it a
where they do
lot.
this.
I thought it was great, kind of like understanding of how even Professor X's mind is gone. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He jeopardized and hurt fucking thousands of people. I was like, wow, yeah. Could you imagine if a mutant was to go the other way? I was like, that's cool, and especially an older man who suffers, who's vulnerable like everyone else, like dementia and all that. He's New York. I was like, this is
Yeah.
so class.
And if aging sucks, that's the
Exactly.
message of this film. Like, you know.
Yeah.
So,
I think Logan is.
But that was very good how they introduced the whole, like, it's the adamantium that's poisoning, and I was like, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
now, this is probably my favorite superhero film, but he still loses his powers. in it.
No, but
But
he doesn't lose the powers, he's dying. There's a difference. You can't lose your powers if you're dying. It's kind of like, I don't know, injuring one of the Avengers.
It's more. This is post powers Wolverine, and he finds a drug that lets him go one more time.
And we have, like, X-23 as well coming in. Which way he doesn't really count because well, can he count as dying twice? Like thinking about now, like no, I liked it. I will give it a shine. I thought it was a great performance from
Okay.
Hugh Jackman and he looked great in both scenarios. To be honest with you,
We'll take this one off the list for
take it
Fox
off.
Yeah,
Take it
I
off.
will
the list.
defend. I will defend.
I will
this
defend
decision.
it.
then. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I will
So, next
fight
one.
you.
Phil Fox, Deadpool 2. Wade loses his healing powers due to inhibitor collar. spends the middle third of the film without dying of cancer, basically.
I would still give it a shiny. Because I honestly think it was very cool and understanding to see how Wade has got away with not suffering with cancer, going through the Deadpool phase, to have the collar on, to see the vulnerabilities back that, like, he's human like everyone else with these typical necklaces. It doesn't matter what kind of pair you have. You have this on, you're back to square one. I think it adds to the arc of his vulnerabilities to show that, like, he's gonna, like, if he got even the serum put into him, he's fucked.
I agree with you completely, but it's also him losing his powers in the second movie of the series.
Yeah, true.
It is both. It is. I get your point. Like, I mean, it adds to the character. You see him.
Adds to the vulnerability.
Down, like,
yeah. It's like he can't get his girlfriend now. She's dead. Like, he's stuck with this child. He's had to deal with this cancer. He's stuck in this cage.
Also not the boring part of the movie.
And especially when he breaks his neck and the collar breaks, I thought it was good. I was like, oh, does he come back? Does he not come back? It's
not like the crap want to skip it part of the movie. They do it really well.
They do really well in the scene. And I think I still think it still adds more layers to how, well, he's upset over the fact that he lost his mom as well. Like, there's so many layers into that when you are in that moment at your lowest, you know what I mean?
Those two movies revitalized my liking for that character that had absolutely been killed off by the comics.
But see, the thing is when some of these characters do lose their powers, it's usually some kind of like, either like falling down or giving up, you know. But with Wade, he got trapped, he got put into a terrible situation, now he got shoved into a cage with everyone else. Yes. It wasn't a case of him giving up or retiring.
The worst aspect of this is when, it's despair and giving up.
When it's that person giving up, but he was still persistent in a way. But
that's
that's what I like about seeing the Wade character in this position in the second film, which is cliched around being like, oh, it's going to be the crapper of the two or whatever. But I honestly think it added more to it. Because, we could see, we could have easily had a Deadpool where we didn't have that vulnerability be shown to us. I still think it counts, adds more layer, more depth to the situation. So it's a shiny for me, Brian. You can fucking fight me. How about that?
That's fair enough. I mean, there's still, like, no matter what way you cut it, half of this list comes from Fox.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You're welcome, Fox, even though you're
there's
not here.
There's a Fox executive that just really likes Superman 2.
I can even tell you who there's a Fox executive that hates anything to do with superpowers, and
I was instantly going into like Scorsese, and I was like, hang on, wait, hold on.
No, this guy, the muting of Scorsese was him sending a message to Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Did I say the muting of Scorsese?
You did say the muting of Scorsese. Yeah.
The muting of Deadpool was a message from him to Ryan Reynolds. Shut up.
Ryan Reynolds did not take that message.
No, and he won in the end. That guy lost his job. Which we'll be discussing when I put my thing together about the history of Marvel licenses. We'll be talking about this gentleman at great length.
Okay, make sure to bring your pens and paper, kids.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long podcast.
We got one last one, which is the only entry I think on this from the MCU. So I suspect that Kevin Feige has a rule that you're not allowed to do this.
Go on.
Right. Ant-Man 2, Scott's suit stops working for the entire middle third of the film. Except, and this is why I think this is a bad one, when they need it to work. Anytime they need it to work, just and suddenly it works. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, the fiddling, yeah.
Yeah, he just fiddles with it and it works. So why do it at all? Like,
I love the angry. Why do it at all? I
don't like this film anyway.
I don't like it because of, there's a good few factors, because it helps push the Wasp along more in her storytelling. That's what I feel about when I think about it, and like I've watched it a few times, and I often feel like, Scott is just around, and he's getting pushed by the story. He's not pushing the story, like running around. Like Wasp is having to like step in every so often, so Hope is having to step in every so often when things go slightly wrong, or he gets majorly big and he conks out and she has to sort it out. You know what I mean? He's constantly getting pushed by the story. He isn't pushing the story, if you know what I mean.
I just realized.
So I wouldn't give it a shiny. I agree with that.
I was halfway through his talking. I was like, do I remember what happened in that one too? I was like, oh,
Do you
yeah,
even
that's
watch
what happened in that
telly?
one too.
Do you even watch
Of course
it?
I've watched it.
Do you?
My memory's pretty
Take it off
not.
shoe now.
Memory isn't the best, but like,
Shit.
geez, it's a forgettable film.
Do you even know what day it is? It's Wednesday. I hope you know that. No.
Like, I also can't tell you what happened in Thor 2.
Oh, I can tell you what happens in Thor 2 with the whole Dark Elves and Jane Foster getting all put into
They
her.
waste Christopher Eccleston.
But all you need to know is that all of the universes were converging on one spot, apparently, which has nothing to do with any of
The multiverse.
Yes, nothing
Yeah.
to do with the multiverse, though. Nothing to do with it. Just the 9 realms.
And also the first film to really waste one of the new Doctor Who's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My God, Christopher Eccleston's a great actor.
Yeah.
I love him.
But
As
what,
is Matt Smith.
but what
They're
about
waste.
you, Aiden?
Yeah.
And the Wasp? We're all waiting for your conclusion. I said it's definitely not a shiny.
It's very forgettable. That's my point.
Exactly. Okay. Well, I think we already got that.
I was like, oh yeah, the ghost person. That was a thing.
Yeah, the ghost. Yeah.
I like
her
Ghost.
Getting her mammy back. See, like this is what I was talking about. Like Scott was never the story. It was Wasp and the Wasp and Ant-Man, but it was mostly just a Wasp. It was mostly Hope and her mother issues. So you know, good times.
Looking back at that, I'm like, the ghost kind of like a blank character, and it's kind of like a.
I feel like she's a
metaphor
forgotten
for
character. I hope
that
to see her
movie
back
being,
though.
like, very forgettable.
Yeah.
And like this is totally out of the remit of what we're discussing here. Like in the comics, Ghost is like anti-capitalist terrorist. So like Iron Man, for example, has incredible trouble dealing with her because Ghost's phasing characters tend to wreck machinery as well. That's just a standard rule in the Marvel universe. If you phase through machinery,
it makes sense that you would break a couple of things. Yeah, you'd hope.
So Ghost is a real. Actually, I think Ghost's male in the comics.
One of my favorite aspects of Marvel is a lot of characters have weaknesses that are one individual, like not very powerful character.
Yeah.
I love that. Like
There is actually a comic where the way Shadowcat is supposed to be like proper grade A genius.
Yeah.
Tony Stark tries to hire her, and within 2 hours is there like, never come back here.
Wow.
I cannot have you in this building because she phases. That's her
Oh
one
yeah,
power.
everything
They're
is
like,
wrecked.
you are the most dangerous person for me to have around me on this planet. Go away.
Yeah. She'll just
I
wreck an
cannot
Iron Man. She'll wreck an Iron Man suit in 3 seconds flat.
Yeah.
And like, she'll phase through walls. It's like, this is Stark Tower. Every wall is full of
Just
all
reminds
of the
me of
technology.
Vision, kind of way. Like he'll just float through a wall. It's like Vision. We talked about this, but I see that the door was already open, so I assumed.
I love when someone writes Kitty Pryde well. She can be written like as the ultimate ninja badass.
Yeah, I
definitely.
love comics where like I can remember there's one where she gets in a fight with Sabretooth, and they kind of have you thinking, oh god, Kitty's gonna die, and she's there like, do you not know who trained me? And she kicks him around the place, and she like phases her fist through his head and says, I can make this solid anytime you want.
Oof.
By the way, his name was Logan. Like,
Yeah, when she's written well, she's the most badass character.
yeah, because none of her powers are offensive, so it's this little girl who's kicking all kinds of arse, but she has learned how to use her power
Yeah,
offensively.
if you can't touch her, what can you do?
Yeah,
Exactly.
great
Oh.
character. Love that character.
Yeah, same.
I'm of the perfect age for Kitty Pryde because I read the 80s comics books when I was growing up. So like every other boy of my age, I instantly fell in love with this character.
Oh, they're like, we're gonna get married. We're gonna both have
she's-
phase babies.
Yeah, but she's actually she's incredibly important to the history of comic books. No one realizes this because so many creators of the 90s and noughties came into comics because of her and made like interesting female characters based on Claremont's Kitty Pryde. And even like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Joss Whedon, though we never speak of him anymore.
We don't speak about Jay.
Yeah,
We don't
but
speak
he has
about-
straight up said that Buffy is just Kitty. Like I wanted to make a Kitty Pryde
A badass.
TV series, yeah, and that's who Buffy is. Like,
There you go.
So she's had a massive effect on pop culture in general, and most people don't even recognize that this character with a really
It's all
silly
these
name is based on
whippersnappers.
a real
This is
person.
what it is, man.
My favorite Kitty Pryde thing is it's a panel from Gwenpool. And I don't know if you know this character. I think Gwenpool is a character
No.
who is from our world.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is actually Gwendolyn Poole.
Gwendolyn
she-
Poole.
Yeah, she's from our world, but she gets trapped in the Marvel Comics universe. But she's a comic nerd.
Oh, of course. Okay, that I love these
So-
little integrations. Hey
Yes,
guys, how did
there's
I
a
get
bit-
here?
There's a comic where she's in a situation along with Miss Marvel, where Miss Marvel, it looks like she's going to die, but she's like, Carol Danvers is like the most important character in the Marvel universe. They're not going to kill her off. And then she sees Kitty Pryde. She's like, oh, that's Kitty Pryde. This is probably a Brian Michael Bendis comic. He will have the authority to kill off Carol Danvers. That is my favorite, one of my favorite crap breaking the fourth wall things I've ever read.
Yeah.
Brian Michael Bendis is a writer who was obsessed with Kitty Pryde. He puts her in everything.
And
Jesus.
he was the most powerful writer in Marvel for like 15 years, I'd say.
Yeah, he's the guy that he pretty much created modern Spider-Man.
Oh my god, that's mad.
Yeah,
There you go.
That's, yeah, this is a Brian Michael Bendis comic. He would have the authority to kill off Carol Danvers.
Jesus
I love
Christ.
that.
Oh god. So what's up
We
on
called
the
him-
agenda now? On the week we have Moon Knight. Obviously that dropped today, but no one saw it. We already talked about it.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
Moon Knight episode 3 next week. Can't wait.
Then it's only like a couple of weeks until Doctor Strange. The extended
there's
trailer's out
3 more.
now. No,
The what?
it's 3 more. Is it only 5? How
There's
many
6
we getting?
episodes of Moon Knight.
6
3
episodes.
more after next week. 3 more after next week.
Yeah, 3 more. So, well, technically 4. Well, third one is next week. Yes, so third one's next week. So we have a couple more running down there. I have a feeling that it's going to be just finishing up as it kicks off for Doctor Strange 2. Am I right in
They're
saying
in
that? If we have a look at the calendar right now, ladies and gentlemen. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, just the 5th episode will be just on the week of release, and then the last episode's after release. So just kind of falling in between the two.
Actually, no, the last episode's out the day of release.
Is it?
They're both, yeah, May 4th.
Oh, I wonder they're gonna do what they did with this showing up in
In
yeah,
the
It would-
movie.
it would
Hawkeye
make a
and
lot- it
then
would- yeah.
Charlie Cox.
Something. So yeah, I have to watch Moon Knight
Yeah.
before I go see. it.
You have to. That's gonna be. But the Moon Knight's not out until, or sorry, Doctor Strange's not out until the 6th of May, and the 4th. So the 4th, Moon Knight's dropping on the 4th of May. Last one.
I wonder now that they're in Egypt. I kind of felt like because they were in London that Kit Harington was going to show up in the show at some point. But I
On-
don't know if they will.
I honestly do had that like feeling of like there is going to be some kind of like Hang the Conqueror kind of feel in this season. I'm waiting for it. There
I think
has to
somebody
be.
needs to. Yeah,
Because if they like
Wait,
totally skip
Bruce
out on
Campbell's
this,
in Doctor Strange too.
who?
Bruce Campbell's in it.
Yeah,
course he is.
apparently he was
Oh,
rumored
it's
to
a
be
Sam
put into
Raimi
it.
movie. What am I talking about?
Yeah, he's rumored to be in it.
That's about as
Yeah, isn't
surprising
it?
as.
I was really just I typed in to see the release date and then the cast. I was like, he was there. I was
Yeah,
oh,
Bruce
he's in it.
Campbell.
He's
Love
I think
him.
he's just been a Sam Raimi movie without him.
Be strange, wouldn't it?
Anyway, and he's played like the PS3 Spider-Man games where Bruce Campbell did the tutorial over like the tutorials,
Oh,
No.
That's amazing. 'cause
and he would just insult Spider-Man.
yeah, he's Mysterio in the Sam Raimi universe. Do you know that?
No.
Check the credits. He's Quentin Beck.
Oh, is that what they credited him? I know he was like he has a role in all 3 movies or something
Yeah.
else.
You know, in the last film, you won't let him into the cinema. He's no
Yeah,
sure in the
yeah.
cinema.
Yeah.
Think about it.
What the hell?
Mysterio's whole thing. Yeah,
He
yeah.
was doing something. Weird with the cinema. Oh, that's interesting.
Look at
I'm
you!
gonna-
Tin hats! Oh my god! So proud.
That's
Looks
cool.
good of you. Kind looks good.
I'm incredibly excited for Doctor Strange. They have built this up so well.
They really have.
It
I'm just-
feels like it's the end of everything they've been building to since Wanda.
Yeah, it feels
Exactly.
like this is the bit where things make sense.
I am going to rewatch everything before then. And by the way, just I just like kind of dropped the mic a moment. It's like 2 days before my birthday as well, so you know, definitely going for my birthday.
Makes a lot of sense.
Has to happen.
I'm a massive fan of Chiwetel Ejiofor. His name's so hard to pronounce, and I really hope he has a good showing.
We'll have to see. We can only wait. I'm looking forward to seeing how, this is my tin hat theory, okay? So Agatha Harkness is sitting there and she's telling everyone all around the town, well, looking at Wanda as she's going like, your power surpass that of the Sorcerer Supreme. And who's the Sorcerer Supreme right now?
Wong!
Exactly. Does he have much power? No!
Ew.
Okay? Boom! I already know the ending of this movie, man. Did I
love that. That's such that's such a funny thing they did.
There's no need for it. Like,
No, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It's the sort of thing you do just so people can theorize about stuff.
But like, I think it's the reality as well what the blip really did, because a lot of people lost a lot of stuff in those 5 years. Sure, your one Chrissy's getting married. You know what I mean? Christine, she's getting hitched, bless her. If she gets hitched.
Wong is doing the kind of Agent Coulson role as well.
Yeah,
like
little
he's
kind of
showing up a lot.
Yeah, like that supporter floating around.
Yeah.
Very Agent Coulson. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
I don't think there's ever been a film in my existence that I've heard more theories about than Doctor Strange 2.
Only because I keep pushing it into our bleeding messenger chat. Like, look at this.
No, just in general. They've created a reality where absolutely anything is possible.
Anything is possible, 100%, and that's what really, really pulls me into this whole thing. And the fact that I know, like, some of these trailers that we're all watching, all that shit's being edited and doctored in some way that is, it's upsetting.
Yeah.
And I want to know...
They know what you're seeing.
I want to know if that trailer from Sony Spider-Man is going to show up in this movie, because he's like, don't cast that spell. Remember, he's going through in Spider-Man, he's like, don't cast a spell all over the trailers, and then all of a sudden we didn't see it, and I'm like, why didn't we see it? So is it like a different timeline? Is it a different moment? Like, I'm just...
Could be in this.
Tin hat.
I'm just thinking out loud. Is it this year or next year the next Spider-Verse movie's out?
Next year. Well, next year, I think it's supposed to be. Not this year. For Sony's second adaptation for Miles Morales.
22.
23.
22, and then part 2 is 23.
Yeah, exactly. So part 2 will be 23, and that'll kind of I think it's going to coincide with the game release as well. I don't know when that's going to be out. I think it's going to be 23 when that's out.
That might be the fun one.
Maybe towards the end of the year. God knows if they manage to pull anything through. We just all have to see, I guess.
Hearing that every universe will have a different art style has made me so excited for this film.
Oh man, stop the lights! Even the first one was fantastic with Miles Morales. The first one, brilliant.
I think the first one's the best Spider-Man movie ever made.
Probably.
I don't think anything. I think it's so good. It's up there with Incredibles for like superhero movies, in my opinion.
In animation wise, yeah, absolutely.
No, in general.
Incredibles is fantastic.
I think Incredibles is one of the best superhero movies ever made.
Brilliant.
It's Logan. We should do each of us brings our top 3 superhero films sometime.
We can do
argument about it.
We could do this next week. How about that? Put it on our table. Top 3s.
Do that. Yeah.
Put it on the table.
Even deciding that for me is going to be really difficult, because there's
3 so hard. I'll probably do 5.
Oh, stop. I was only thinking of, you know what movie I was thinking of there the other day that one watch? Spawn.
I haven't seen that film.
In a millennium. And I've been like going through the archives of my old childhood like superhero movies, and I'm like, Jesus, when's the last time I've seen that? Or another one that I want to watch with one of the ball ones in it, A Shadow. The Shadow was a great one too.
Do you know where I bought my copy of Spawn? This will tell you how long ago it was. Laser.
Whoa,
Laser up Georgia Street.
Yes.
The coolest DVD shop in the world.
I only watched Spawn because he was
I think that's now
Xbox version
a
of
Spar now or something.
That's the reason I watched Spawn.
I love Spawn. Thought it was fantastic. God, I know it was just a weird story, and the way it was really, really dark and gloomy. Obviously, the era really feed into that, you know, Tim Burton feel. Fucking it's great. No, it's really on the nose of the era, decade wise.
Okay.
Give it a go. It'll add more kind of to your bank of weird movies, I guess. So, and The Shadow I thought was a very good story as well. Movie.
I don't think I've ever seen The Shadow.
Shadow's
I've
good.
seen The Shadow.
It's an old movie as well. Come on, guys! I thought you were all better than me with this stuff. I'm me feeding you stuff. Unreal. I think we should round it off.
Yes. I'm getting older here. Like
it's 8 o'clock for little boys.
It's been a pleasure.
Has. So
that was a fun one.
We have our homework for top 3 for next week. What movies do we have to watch again? I'll check the VOD and then obviously I'll remind you. But it won't. No, we'll have to chat. Let us know what we have to watch again.
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight obviously is next week as well, and we just need to keep an eye on what the hell's Morbius up to. Like Morbius is.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this will evolve into something even more amazing.
I'm hoping that in the last 2 years of that movie being out, 2 years of being worked on / coming out recently, that they have some kind of like weird Schneider cut situation. Like, oh wait, that wasn't the movie we actually wanted. Here it is. You know. It wouldn't even make any sense. Why is he even in there?
I want someone when it comes out on DVD to cut the movie so it's all the voice lines from the Morbius from the cartoon.
Stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened.
Yes.
Really funny.
Whoever does that, please.
I don't even.
Yeah.
It's funny. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that Spider-Man cartoon in probably 20 years. But I have that Morbius voice in my brain forever.
Yeah, that's why
never forget it.
I can't think of X-Men without singing the goddamn tune.
Those cartoons are so important.
So
And
important.
Jubilee, an important character for some reason.
So Brian, where can we find you?
At Brian Von Doom on Twitter. I was doing a little chat about the history of Moon Knight there today.
Are you? And
like
do you have anything on the agenda this weekend that you should be sharing with us? Any events?
I think we're eventless this weekend. We're taking a break.
What?
Watch some wrestling.
It's a holy month. It's a holy
I'm gonna watch
month.
some wrestling. Yeah.
Oh,
but
wrestling.
if people want to sub for fighting game tournaments, it's as one live on Twitch.
As one life. There you go. What about you, Ado?
Follow me on Twitter at AODHAIN616. I have been talking a shitload about wrestling in the past 7 days.
Oh my God! Everyone's talking about wrestling in the last 7 days.
This has been a great week to be a wrestling fan. I have someone who has totally given up on WWE, and I just enjoyed WrestleMania so much this year.
So if you really want to
and also-
gush,
And if you want really good wrestling, the Ring of Honor pay-per-view last Friday was brilliant.
I have to have a look at that now. Because I like you, I gave up on it a long time ago as soon as it started going around the bend in some cheesy way, and I was like, nah. Bring back the 90s
I've
King
gotten
of the
to the
Ring.
point. I've got to the point where I just want like consistent storylines and a little bit of cheesiness. There was a Jackass match this year at WrestleMania, and
Oh yeah, that's right, yeah.
had a whale of a time watching it.
They really are starting to pull out. So let's see if they can keep that going. For me, sure, you could just Google me. I'm Anti-Tinkerbell. I do exactly what it says in the tin. I'm also on Twitch and I play video games where I bully children, but that's a different story. That's a different story.
Is Fortnite really good with no building? Because it seems like it would be.
Zero build. Okay. I come from a PUBG background. I have been forged since 2016 on Battlegrounds. Okay. When Fortnite came out, obviously I was PUBG partner at the time, so it was all whatever. But it was the whole concept of building. I just couldn't get my head around it because you could build so many different things. People were building mansions. I couldn't understand the game. But as soon as they took out the building, people were like, took out the building, give it a go. And I'm like, They have tanks. I'm like, They have vehicles. I'm like, well, we'll just see how the, combat and the strategy would go if I was to play. And I've been hitting solos like nobody's tomorrow, winning, quads, everything. No problem. They have no excuse. They can't climb anymore. So now they're on the ground with me. Come here and I'll show you something. Give me your crown. And I've been picking up crowns, no problem. Like, I'd recommend it. I would. Like, for someone who doesn't like Fortnite.
I might play it.
You have so much on your list, man.
I can't believe I'm down to just like I only have like 215 episodes left to go. That's incredible.
That's terrible. Oh my god.
215.
215
A
episodes.
lot of
ago.
it. What? I'm just nearly at 800. Also,
Just-
One Piece has like no filler.
Unbelievable.
Naruto, I've watched the entirety of Naruto. Naruto's like 47% filler. One Piece is like 6% filler.
Right. On
Right.
that note.
And on that bitter note, we say good night. And
Seas on the high seas.
we'll see you next week, probably. You know what I mean? On the high seas. Right. Good luck. Good night.